Good evening, folks. And the first thing that gets heard on camera, heard on channel, is Shard laughing. Good evening, folks.
Appropriate.
Welcome to Him Plays. I'm in the hot seat tonight, GMing for this lot of ne'er-do-wells and their antics in a alternate 1930s. Good evening to everyone in channel. How are you doing? Viper, hello to you. Val, say hello, Val, Magpie, Moliere. Hello, everyone. Good Lord, there's a good few people here. Hello, all of you.
And now we got 4 leather jackets.
Yeah. But I tell you what, if I'm in a leather jacket, I am so also going to have my fan on. Yeah.
I'm just here in a t-shirt and I've got a cooling fan and a regular fan. It is baking in here today. So I apologise if you can hear fan noises. It's probably me.
Yes, and I win out on the thrift store front. This was £1 in the charity shop.
Oh, nice.
This makes me regret the fact that my stepdad's away at a military event. Otherwise, I could steal his military jacket.
I'm amazed there are military events and things going on at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're socially distanced. Everybody's in their own tank.
Yeah, they've had to do it really intellectually. They're all think tanks.
So last week, who wants to give the recap? I feel it should come from a player so that we're clear that you all understood what happened.
Oh shit!
We successfully navigated the river, found the ship, and are now moving on to the next mission.
And what
I have no idea what you're talking about. We turned up, we registered, we went for a drink, and I played cards. That's all the important stuff. I don't know what anyone else was doing.
So,
I retrieved some stuff from a plane that was shot down. That we witnessed being shot down.
You did.
And that was weird. Yeah.
we witnessed it being shot down, went to where we were going to begin with to do some research.
Yeah, and the other one was going the same
Mm-hmm.
where it landed.
Savannah, Georgia.
Yep.
That's it.
You
You're
guys
in
went
Savannah,
to.
Georgia. Yep.
We didn't. We stayed, and we're having drinks and playing cards and about to start a fight.
Yeah, you're in a little place called Darien, which is
And
about
you're gonna
60
be in a
miles
race.
south of Savannah.
Yes, we're going to be in the race. I say we. Midas is going to be in the race.
I thought you signed up as well.
I
I
did.
thought so too.
It's a 5-day race, I believe.
Yeah, they're a multiple event.
Yeah.
So you might do okay in the endurance event.
Yeah.
So, the 2 of you are busy doing this race stuff for cover, while the 3 of us are doing salvage missions.
Yes.
No, I'm doing this race stuff, and I don't know what anyone else is here for. To be honest. Somebody mentioned something about a thing that was the reason we were coming here, but the word race, that was it. Midas was lost.
We're researching. There's I think it was a boat.
Yeah, it's called
Then-
the Water Witch.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
the
do
one.
boats.
Some
And
boats go
we're
fast.
trying to figure out where,
Yeah, but they
because
don't
it
fly,
has.
do they? You can't get a boat to fly. I mean, you get a flying boat, but that's not really a flying boat. That's a plane that floats. That's not a boat that flies.
It flies on water, which is a. I'm not going to try and talk to you about science.
Now, I have no idea what you're going on about now. You're just embarrassing yourself.
Just
Stop
don't
it.
hurt yourself because I'll have to put you back together again.
Does a hovercraft count as a flying boat?
Technically,
Yes.
Ish.
It's not a boat. A hovercraft
When
is
were
not a
they
boat,
invented?
but it flies.
And
It's a
there
flying
are
platform.
there are those boats now that do sort of like
oh,
float
the
above the
planing,
water, don't
the
they?
water planing isn't really fly.
The
I guess
hydrofoils.
Hydroplanes,
Hydroplane,
it's the
yeah.
same technology as flying, but
And because of the friction, once you're getting up to that speed, it operates like flying a plane on 2 dimensions instead of 3, because you're not really touching the water at that point. And when you try to turn, you just kind of slide.
it's kind of like a scale, you see. They're all on one spectrum. You've got boats at the bottom, then you get hydroplane, then you get winging ground effect, then actual plane.
Yeah.
But a hovercraft doesn't
Hovercraft will
need.
come in the middle of there somewhere, but they're not really around yet.
You forgot submarines.
Hovercraft
Oh, God.
are just.
All right.
I did forget
on the
submarines.
map.
Pull us back on
I
track.
forgot submarines for good reason. I mean, boats are bad enough. Going on the water is bad enough, but deliberately sinking.
I think we
Children,
broke Jory.
children.
Moody would like to go back to the mission.
Wait, that was a mission?
Your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to get these players to do anything resembling the scenario that you have.
Or
written.
anything resembling the plot. So,
Yeah.
now, for some reason,
Merlin-
Fantasy Grounds has switched from which version of Fantasy Grounds... Sorry, not Fantasy Grounds. OBS has switched which version of Fantasy Grounds I'm displaying to the channel. So I'm trying to fix that at the
Oh.
moment.
Okay.
When we started, it was displaying the right one. And now it's displaying
Okay.
the wrong one. And I don't know why.
So we're
So
free to go off the rails and
do
banter.
whatever.
So,
Cool. Well, we
So
can
we're
still
back to
finish.
what I was doing
Right.
last session, which is distracting.
Yeah.
But instead of distracting the other pilots so that Masha could eye them all up and find out what's going on,
Yes.
instead now we're distracting the audience so they won't notice my desperately fixing the technical problem.
I have a question because I
easy.
forgot to bring my notes in here. I can't remember. I took notes last time because
It's
I
okay.
really wouldn't
Hey,
remember anything, and
someone's
now I
gotta
haven't
take notes.
remembered
Someone's
anything.
got to take
That is a
notes.
real player.
What?
Real proper players take notes. The rest
But,
of us have
I
been doing
mean-
this so long, we've given up on notes long ago.
Given up.
Yep.
I have a notepad file open. Does that count as taking notes?
Yeah,
If
Yeah.
there's anything in it, yes.
And this is related to this game.
But if there's
Yeah.
I
nothing
would
in
have
it,
taken
then no.
digital notes,
mean-
but I had a very loud keyboard
Okay.
before.
Yes.
I've
alright.
got a notebook, but it still doesn't count because I've got no notes in it.
Okay, what were you wanting to ask, Jory?
I wanted
I've
to
got dungeon in it.
get.
There
I
are
wanted
no
to get a
dungeons in here.
refresher on what exactly we're looking for with the downed ship. Is
We're
it like
looking-
a treasure or
Kind of
We
both.
didn't know.
There is supposed to be records for some sort of holding in a company or land, and there's also supposed to be old currency and whatnot. So we're looking for a lockbox or a number of lockboxes on the downed ship after we discover where it is.
Yes, and that's why we're in Savannah, right? Because that
Well, we're not in
is a
Savannah
larger
anymore.
city that has more.
You
We went to
adjacent
Savannah to get
Savannah.
more information, but we left because our airship, I can't remember the name of it, called us back. She's like, no, that plane that was down had the gear for diving on it.
Yeah,
So we bought some rope, flew back out to the crash site, and then successfully retrieved the gear that we need for.
I like the fact that we took diving gear to recover our diving gear.
I know exactly. Well, we did a good job though of like just getting makeshift stuff and
Yeah.
and like using a cement block and a piece of rope and just
Mhm.
using
There is
that
a
as our
slight
dive gear.
Elements that when I'm diving, I don't want the word makeshift anywhere near.
I'm
Yeah,
not sure
that's
that
like-
when I'm diving, I want the word cement block anywhere near it.
So for those that are panicking about perhaps using the cement block as a ballast mechanism, no, the cement block was used as an anchor for the rope,
Yeah.
which then
Yeah.
gave the diver a rope to climb down and then climb back up.
Yeah.
Honestly,
that's
I
far
think
easier
Moody
than
would,
swimming it.
if aviation and bodyguarding and such fails for Moody, they can always go and be a pearl diver.
Oh, 100%. That I mean, there are limitations to how deep
Oh,
of
right.
water she
You're
will go
afraid
into.
of, you're afraid of water. That's right.
No. afraid of
But
deep water.
shallow water diving, sure. maybe
really
like a
don't-
Coast Guard rescue person or something. I don't know.
I've now
I don't
had
know
an
if that
idea pop into
exists.
my head, and I really want to create a new construct for D&D. I want to
Uh-huh.
create an aquatic construct. I want to create a pearl diver.
Oh wow.
I just think that
Right
needs to be done.
Yeah, that's
would
kind of
cost a
cool. That's
freaking
kind of cool.
fortune.
So OBS is fixed.
Yay.
We are now
Yay.
displaying the right stuff in the right place.
Okay.
So
The right stuff has been in the right place. It's all of us. We are the right stuff.
Are we in the right place?
so to summarize everything that has been mentioned previously.
Summarize the summary.
Yes. So the crew are the crew of an airship that is owned by a venture capital, and largely they're left to their own devices unless there's something that specific parts of that venture capital need being done. This is one of those occasions. They've been sent over to Georgia to look for the wreck of a civil warship called the Water Witch, which may
and
or
that's
may
a
not
different
have
Civil War, right?
American
Or is
Civil
that
War.
the Civil War?
The Civil
Okay.
War, American Civil War.
Yeah,
That still
So there's a
happened.
different one.
Yeah,
like
the American one
in this
specifically.
setting, there's another
No,
set of Civil Wars.
well, in this setting, the
States
Union
fractured,
completely
but they didn't
fractures.
actually have a war
Yeah.
about it, did they?
Yeah, they just
Just the
fractured.
top.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this is the Civil War, and it may or may not contain something, payment, documents, or some evidence pointing somewhere else that may affect the ownership of certain lands in the fractured states of America,
Yeah.
which could
Right.
then have ramifications on a much wider platform. You know, if all of a sudden maybe France has a stake in something that's not French over here, the
Something that's
borderlines
not Canada.
the borderlines of the nations as they are could change.
You know, I'm curious with the fractured states if Florida and Alabama have, or that area is mostly French and Cajun.
Hmm.
So you're currently in what is referred to as the Outer Banks. You're on the borderline between the Outer Banks and Dixie.
Oh, okay.
I'll pretend I understand what that is.
Does the
if-
winner
I know
does
American geography.
Dixie, I want to be a Dixie Pixie.
If you bring up the images, Robinson,
So if I just zoom in and
third
move
one
to
got
the
down
it.
screen.
on the right hand side. Oh, there's a Crimson Skies America file,
Yes.
and then Outer Banks is East Coast, and Dixie's directly underneath it.
basically where South Carolina and Georgia are?
And then
Well, not that
Louisiana's
you would know that.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's like I was saying, well, it's south of Hampshire.
I know exactly where that is.
and
It's on a little
Louisiana is
island
just
across the pond.
just to the left of Dixie. So if perchance the French have a claim on something in the Outer Banks, that would effectively put Dixie in a French-influenced sandwich, which might be unpleasant for both parties.
I'm curious, does the winner of the race get a Dixie Cup?
No, the winner of the
Oh,
race
dear.
gets $15,000.
I mean, I guess that's okay, but the title of Dixie Cup is so much funner.
It is.
What the hell is the Dixie Cup?
I have no idea, and I'm terrified to look it up.
Oh my!
Oh my
Dixie Cup.
gosh!
I forgot that they're not
No, the
American.
joke- That's why the joke didn't land. That's why I was the only one that reacted.
We're foreigners, you must remember. We don't know what you're talking
Wait. We're all foreigners, depending on from what point of view.
I love that you just said, I forgot they're not American.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether to be insulted or flattered by that.
Well,
I've
you're
gotta
the one that
admit.
puts on an American accent, so you should be flattered by that.
Right?
Oh, Chrono. Okay, you tell us what the Dixie Cup is.
Yeah, Chrono,
You don't
enlighten
know.
us.
No, we
The
have
keeper of knowledge.
And yet Moliere's right, you've got a lot of Dixie cups for $15,000.
Honestly, it's really easy to just. They're the little paper cups. They're like this big little paper cups that you usually use for getting water from the water cooler.
Yes, a brand of disposable
yeah.
cup, exactly.
They're just tiny little cups, and they're called
Oh.
Dixie cups
Oh,
Okay.
I have
because
now. I
Dixie
know
is the
it's
brand.
now I know it's safe.
That's
I've
why I
kind of-
made that noise because I was like, oh, that's a grown-worthy pun right there,
Fair
in my
enough.
opinion.
It was a very dad joke thing.
It was. It
Disposable
was a
paper
good
cups
dad
have
joke.
been counted with a water cooler have been cones.
Yeah.
Where they do just the one-use cones that you're never allowed to put down.
Yeah. Oh, I hate those. Did we lose Robinson? I think.
He's
I think we
recovering,
have.
apparently.
He is apparently recovering.
Okay.
So, having now arrived, the other thing, of course, they've been told is that there are a number of air races happening in a small town airstrip, about 60 miles south of where they think the Water Witch was last sighted. And the races are a cover for the real activity. So, Fish's character being known for being a racer and stunt pilot and barnstormer is all about the races and really has no interest in anything else, understandably
I
so.
found you both.
And
You'll do a boat when your plane crashes in the water, or you'll drown.
and then there's Merlin, who is the team's
Why on earth do you think my plane's going to crash?
engineer and scientist, who between
Merlin.
sessions has been involved in creating a prototype aircraft. He and at least one other mad scientist, eminent engineer, they have a flying boat made with a revolutionary material for the hull and a very bleeding edge electric system.
Yes, and it's my job to protect number 1, the prototype, and number 2, Merlin. In that order.
Oh, good lord, what's happening in chat?
Nothing. It's fine. I'm just building up my to be murdered list.
See, Val's doing the code 12.
I see code 12.
Yeah.
Val, I only learned about code 12 minutes before we went live.
Yes, good point.
Yes, Neo needs to get code 12 emotes.
Yes.
Yes.
Is Robinson back? It just flicked something on my screen.
Robinson.
It says connecting on my
Robinson, come back. We forgive you most of your
Oh
past
wait,
transgressions.
I probably need to do a medicine roll in order to bring him back online.
screen. User is offline.
Oh,
Connected.
hello. What
Let's
in
see.
Satan's name just happened there?
I'm gonna try and heal Robin.
So today is definitely a Tech Issues Sunday.
Why did you just share that window?
Who just shared what?
Sorry, who shared what?
Jory's just shared the stream window.
I don't
Oh.
think Joey meant to do that. I'm guessing.
Oh, poor Jory.
Yeah.
How do we unshare?
There's a stop sharing button. I think it's
Yeah,
at the top.
And you've lost your audio, Jory. We can't hear you.
Sorry.
That's because,
Where's it sharing from?
it's sharing your Twitch desktop.
Unshare.
There you go.
Okay.
You got it. Right. Definitely a Tech
So for
Issues
those
Sunday.
wondering what on earth that was about, VC, which is the video comms software that we use and was originally designed for telemedicine, has the ability to share one of your other windows in your desktop so that you can.
I see what
Collaborate
happened.
on stuff.
Okay.
It's extremely
Right. I suggest we plow on and hope Robinson is able to rejoin.
Yes.
I
Just
tried.
one last thing about how cool VC is. It also does file transfer by the simple expedient of just drag and dropping a file to anybody's video window.
Oh, that's
Oh,
really
that's cool.
So if you need to give somebody a PDF handout, you can just drag it to them on the screen and it'll transfer it to them.
And
Really,
as-
really nice like that.
To give another cool thing that it does, specifically for what we do, it allows you to pop everyone's window out. So if someone drops, it doesn't then reorganize everyone's window and your overlay goes to...
So when Robinson goes horribly wrong, you don't get that Skype issue of suddenly everybody's in the wrong place.
Yeah. It just, the screen will go blank or frozen, as actually it already is. Anywho. So,
I tried to roll to heal Robin, and I rolled an 18, but it doesn't seem to have worked.
That's because you use healing words. You should have been using repair, clearly.
Oh, I don't have repair.
and that's why it's never going to work. So, at the start of the session...
Until he is now feeling much better, but we don't know that because he's not currently connected.
At the start of the session, every player needs to get 3 tokens.
Oh yeah.
Yay.
2 for me.
Now,
Okay,
did
every
we
pair apart
decide on
from-
a house rule for this? Because the
Yes.
core
The
rule
the
is
house
that
rule-
you drop all of the tokens at the end of the session, and we were going to.
We
tweak
house ruled that
well,
you keep
if we
them,
didn't
so
like it.
everyone still has their tokens from last session. We didn't drop those.
Cool.
Oh,
So I think what we were going to do, if I remember rightly, was that rather than lose your tokens and then get 3 more at the beginning of every session, we were resetting every session to essentially 3 or where you were on the session before.
That's
So
right.
Whichever is
essentially,
higher.
you would keep that, but otherwise you go back to 3 if you'd used your tokens.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I think
And
there were no tokens used. So looking at it, everyone is already on 3.
I certainly am.
Okay.
and we're earning them through roleplay or well done things.
Roleplay, well done things, Corpse the
in the
GM moments,
Yeah.
all
Some-
those wonderful
yeah.
things. So, and I'm going
And
to be
you expect us to say, "Hey, do I get something for that?"
absolutely, because this is a new
Okay.
system to me. I'm still
Ideally, yeah,
learning the
'cause-
system, so prompt
yeah,
me.
Well, and I think the other players too can be like, hey, I think
Yeah,
that person
absolutely.
should get something for that.
Yes.
Absolutely, yep. And also you folks in chat as well. If you think someone's done something hilarious, clever, outstanding,
Absolutely, yeah.
speak up.
Shout out and support your favourite players when you think that they have earned what Savage Worlds called bennies, but we're not.
Yeah, we
I-
need a finger click emote so you can get people doing the whole GM. Tokens?
Yeah, I will call them tokens because I don't like the term that the game uses.
I just call them chips.
Chips
so I'm
is a-
glad.
Yeah,
Tokens,
because
chips.
They're chips in Deadlands,
Yeah.
so that's where my brain goes to.
Yeah.
In fact, the current edition of Deadlands, the version for Savage Worlds Adventure Edition, has finally brought Deadlands in line with the rest of Savage Worlds and dropped the chips in favour of
Has
just
it
using
done
the
so?
standard Savage Worlds bennies. So as I'm concerned, when I run it, though, I'm going to be using Savage Worlds chips. Thank you very much.
Yes,
No, so Deadlands chips, Deadlands Reloaded chips, because I far prefer them.
Yep.
chips are
I don't
definitely
mind
the
the
better
use
way.
of chips, but in terms of thematic, what about dog tags?
Cute.
Chips are equally fitting
Yeah,
here because
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've been playing poker, so
Midas has been playing poker and indeed won
Yeah.
to the point that the other person on the table was all in, and
Yeah.
We had some lucky rolls last time.
yeah, you didn't need any of
Yeah.
any of the chips. Maybe you'll need them this time.
I don't.
Oh, most definitely.
So the evening is rounding to a close. You've won
Ooh.
your round of cards.
one thing, because I had forgotten this completely, so I'm not sure whether you had.
Probably.
You also get chips
Yes,
as the GM. Yeah, just hope you have
yeah.
remembered you get a chip for every player.
I do.
Yeah.
Bum,
He
bum,
shoots
bum.
again. He shoots again.
Also, do we have music?
Oh, it didn't restart. There we go. That should have started. Thank you.
Only we do.
Yes, we should have music. It should be playing through the playlist, but
I was like preemptively dancing, and I was like, wait, there's supposed to be some music.
Once
I've-
you
I've-
open it, the
for
one
some
bit-
I've got it on loop, but for some reason it didn't loop. I have no
You
idea.
know, preemptive dancing is fine. I'll sit at a restaurant waiting for my food dancing, even if there's no music playing.
Oh, that's
And
neat.
my family has all been like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm just, dancing to the
Just
music.
vibing. Just
Can't you hear it?"
Hang on, I need to get my vocal cords in the right place. Okay, now I can play Masha.
There we go. We've
Good
got
job.
Masha is in the room. Excellent.
The trouble is, I have to do, we are not secret police. That's for
Hey, whatever
sure.
Robinson is still showing us offline.
He
In
is. Do you want to keep the call
Yeah.
and re-invite him?
well, no, he's showing us offline.
Oh, offline.
Yeah. He blew up his computer, maybe?
Wouldn't be the first time.
It's entirely
Yeah.
possible.
Does he have Discord on his phone? Can he reach us there and say?
Unfortunately, he's also offline on Discord too.
Oh, what a child.
No, he's okay. That's kind of
Well,
an intense.
yeah. It could be.
Bear
his
with us,
fault
folks.
that gone down.
It wouldn't be the first time that something like that happened.
We
Unfortunately,
haven't got a storm going at the moment, have we?
nope, not yet.
No. I love the fact that apparently my mum is attacking the Gulf of Mexico. It's Storm Sally.
We'll just pretend he got seasick waiting on the boat plane.
He's clearly busy working on. He's tinkering with something, obviously.
Clearly, yes. There's
It also
something
could be
being
the
tinkered
dead
with.
bodies that I brought onto the boat. He needed,
Yeah.
he needed a moment.
Oh yes, of course. You brought the pilot and diver up as well, didn't you?
Yes.
So they could get buried properly and whatnot.
So yes, having
Because some people on this crew are actually honorable.
I'll take the compliment.
honourable or have a sense of
Well,
humanity or
not
Something.
humanity.
Yeah, yep.
Give me a
More of a
little
sense of-
time.
I
I
think
mean, my
it's more of a
father could
sense
write
of duty.
honourable, so I guess it could happen.
Father is an MP. Specifically, your father is a member of the Privy Council. Well, there's an image.
so,
No, but it would fit, though, with the family background.
It would.
it is Friday evening. and things are drawing to a close. It looks like the bar is getting set to close up and call time. The pilots or pilots, crews, whoever they happen to be, are leaving, as are the players at the card table, having just seen you basically take all their chips. And you can hear planes overhead sounding like they're coming into land.
Well, in that case, I think I will just amble outside because planes. Midas likes planes.
Okay. I'm
Take a look.
surveying the bar.
And in the interests of, doing my duty for the bad debt, I ruined my chances with the barmaid already. So,
No, that was just you.
no, that was a deliberate action because you wanted me to do it.
No, that was
remember
just your
distinctly.
personality.
No, that was you. You owe me for that.
Fine. When next you
You
find
needed a distraction.
when next you find places of negotiable affection, old front,
Really?
there's a fish.
Russians, what can you do?
Reframe.
Same thing.
Okay.
There's a disembodied punch through the air.
What distraction do you have in mind? Fish.
Hmm?
What exactly do I owe you?
I don't know.
Fine. Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on him as he leaves on the grounds that I strongly suspect at least one of his card partners is going to want a word.
Okay.
My life
I
again.
see motion.
Yes!
Robinson, Lou!
Robinson's
By
back!
magic.
Robinson's not squashed. Sorry, no. wait.
Yay!
He has freed himself from the crystal cave and is back with us.
Yes! Welcome back, Robinson.
It was a very interesting experience being in time stasis.
Yeah, he was in the next zone.
My word.
I mean, did you recognize time going by while you were in time stasis?
Oh yeah.
It's
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah.
Time goes by.
Unfortunately, Merlin died while you were gone.
Well, that's a real shame. Now I can make someone who's got some interesting quirks.
As a it's just a lump of work tied together with duct tape.
I'm a
if you
fan,
want to try
personally.
my creative ability, I am welcome to pick apart the entire rulebook.
Oh boy.
Okay, right, let's go for it. What am I rolling?
There's not a lot to roll because there's nothing surreptitious happening.
Notice, isn't it?
It is notice. If you're looking for anything that wouldn't be otherwise obvious, yes.
So in this case, D8 plus a D6 for my wild card, yes?
Yes, that's correct. And your target number is 4.
Okay. Hey Google, set the bedroom light to 100%. Thank you.
I need to get one of those for this room. And then I need to work out how to hook them into OBS.
I haven't quite figured that out yet, but I gather it's possible.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so that's a 7.
Right with you there, Sharp.
That's a 7 and a 2. So the 7, is it higher than?
It's the highest die that counts, yeah.
Yeah,
So the
7.
7's what counts. So, of things that are less than noticeable, nothing until you're outside the bar. Of the planes that are circling, 4 of them appear to be heading for the small Zeppelin that had a weird arrangement. Looked like it was smaller than the Bad Debt, which makes it a very small Zepp as far as
Indeed, yeah.
things goes.
Was there a list of the? I mean, Someone took notes last week, or last time. Robin, did you take a list of the Zeppelins that are here and the various teams?
No, the only notes I have Zeppelin-wise was the Avalon or whatever they were called group,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
because that was the only one that we really got any like solid description of.
I thought
The only note I have is my nemesis, Abelard Pepperdew.
Ah, right. You have a nemesis now. That's correct.
Yes.
I have a nemesis
Yes.
now, yeah.
Yes, Abelard Pepperdew II.
I've finally made it. I have a nemesis.
So,
Pepperdew is the best name ever.
um,
And his plane is called the Aardvark.
that's right. Yes, the Aardvark.
I like Pepperdew.
I still need to finish my Pepperdew
I
drawing.
did ask Strut's permission before naming the nemesis and the plane.
And I'm just chuffed. Okay,
So,
so it's not being followed.
I didn't say that. I said he wasn't being
Oh.
surreptitiously followed.
Oh,
He is, however, being followed by the person who he took the winnings off,
oh, is he?
but not in a I want a word way. They're
Mhm.
just following him.
Right.
Uh, Chuck's just going out to look at the planes, basically. So yeah. he's
Now, the
watching
thing that
It
is
sounds like such a euphemism. He's gone out to look at the planes.
the thing that
Yeah,
perhaps
I gotta go look at the planes. I'll be back in a minute.
the thing that perhaps others
Oh, my
might not
teeth.
notice, Drut,
Yep.
and I'll take a role from a similar role from Fishy to see if he notices, because it's while you're outside. 4 planes are circling the small Zep that had the British flags on it.
Do things explode? They don't, do they?
They do. Both the
Fantastic
wildcard die
rollfish.
and the
I managed to roll exactly. That was on me.
12.
Okay. So, watching these planes, and they are far more interesting than the pilot that's following Paul Midas.
Okay.
The interesting thing about these planes that unfortunately Midas hasn't noticed.
Uh-huh.
He's busy watching them go overhead. 2 of them are sort of big engine. They've got a similar configuration to oh god, I forgot what that was called now. But they've got engines on the outer edge of the wings. Nothing centrally, just one engine on each outer edge. 2 of them do that, and then
Okay.
2 of them look like smaller versions of the flying wings that the Hollywood Knights use.
Oh,
A little smaller, but similar configuration. Now, that's what Midas sees, and they're doing quite nice flights.
uh-huh.
Masha, who's noticed that they are circling the British Zep,
Masha is paranoid cowbird.
watches one of these smaller flying wings circle once,
Uh-huh.
then fly underneath the Zep, then hover and connect to it.
Hello.
I want a plane like that.
How likely is it that she would know of a plane with that capability? Because flying wing and hover in place does not add up.
No, this is something you have never seen.
Okay.
But the
Was
plane.
this already planned, or did this come with a vertical takeoff conversation that we had last week?
Oh no, this was already planned.
Okay.
They've got tractor beams. Clearly, that's what it is.
And you're stood there, kind of keeping a bit of a weather eye on Shackleford and
Yeah.
Dale, who's following him, expecting this plane to be pulled up into the hangar area of the Zeb like it would with yours,
Yeah.
but it doesn't. The pilot just climbs out onto the scaffolding that it's hooked onto, as another plane comes in and does exactly the same thing.
Strikes me as highly inefficient. You have to lose a lot of pilots. Okay. How many of these miniature flying wings are there?
2 flying wings, both docked the same way,
Lots of them.
and then
How do they work?
while you're pondering that, the 2 bigger planes with the engines on the outside
Yeah.
do the same thing. and the engines rotate to start looking like a gyrocopter. Yeah, where the blades are at the top rather than at the
I
front.
can't believe these guys have tilt rotors. That's awesome.
What to say? They have tilt rotors now. That's taking piss. I feel that we should have tilt rotors. And
Don't look
now
at me.
I'm making. No, I am making. I would not want you to tilt rotors.
They can't look at you because you're not there. If you were there, they would look at you.
Yeah.
And all 4 of these planes
I
have
try to
docked
avoid
in a
looking at
similar
them whenever
fashion
possible.
With
on
fric-
this smaller Zep with the British markings on it.
Okay. And Nemesis was British, yes?
No.
No.
Nemesis is American from New England.
How much like the Osprey do these planes look like? Do we have an image of this?
Oh, did I add some images? I don't think I had added images to the tilt rotors.
Because the Osprey would be, that's the image I have in my mind for what these look like. Also, something to consider, this isn't the kind of plane that you can race with. They don't get really high speeds because they're tilt rotors.
Right, I added something close because every plane that appears in these games is a plane that is within a decade
Okay.
accurate to the era. And I got the rotation wrong. The blades don't go to the top, they go to the bottom.
Where's the image at? Is it under review? Oh, there it is. There it is.
Yeah.
Tenfold.
Oh, interesting.
Oh my god, that looks like. Is it supposed to have that big hole halfway along?
What hole?
Which hole?
I think that's just the landing gear, but
Yeah.
Yes, that's where the landing gear retracts into.
it doesn't half look like. Oh, hang on a minute, that bit doesn't butt onto that. That's like my attempts at Airfix kits.
Yeah, that's the landing gear. Most aircraft have the landing gear go up into the wings, but this can't do that because the engine is centrally
Fair enough.
located and powers. This is more information than you should know, but just for the
No, go
sake
for it.
of explaining it,
This is a plane game. We need this information.
these planes don't. You've never seen this kind of configuration.
Plain or
And again, the
are-
second thing I got wrong in describing it, the big engines were it's a pusher plane, so they go from
Yeah,
behind
that's what I
to
was
down.
about to ask.
Yeah.
Are these just the pushers?
Yeah, I was
like those?
misremembering before showing the image.
Interesting.
I like that the design of this, it's not the whole wing that rotates, it's just
It's just the
pro-
engines.
the engines that
Yeah.
move up and down like the gear does. That's cool.
And the other plane, you didn't really get a good enough view of it to being a flying wing with propellers. You couldn't really see much of it or how it did it. So I'm not going to share that one with you yet because it's a flying wing. You know what a flying wing looks like.
Okay.
But all 4 planes docked with the British airship.
British jet. What? Hang on.
I didn't say jet. I said ship. So the British have some interesting innovation in the engineering of their planes.
None of which I have noticed.
Their innovation is towards making better planes, whereas American innovation, I'm guessing, is about piracy and taking advantage of each other.
They do lead the world in that at the moment in this setting.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, they definitely lead the world in that and have probably the best planes for it. So the fastest, the toughest, the biggest guns, just not all in one plane yet.
Yes.
That would be a bad thing unless we had it.
So, amphibious planes. Great. Wonderful idea.
Yes,
Yeah, we
amphibious
have an
planes.
amphibious plane.
You have an amphibious plane. Yes.
Okay, so.
That is. Let me just share that one to remind you what your
Yeah,
special plane looks like.
that guy, isn't it?
Well, how do you pronounce that again?
Hakugai.
Hakugai?
Ah! God's sake, not.
Oh, hey, it's on the water this time. This is a better picture than the first one.
I like that. Yeah, that's a much nicer picture.
Oh, this is beautiful. I'm glad I got the chance to fly it. I got first.
Yeah, you did a great job with it too.
Yeah. Team.
But yeah, now when they come back with that, you can put in an official complaint and demand to know why the rotors don't go down. 'Cause
Yeah.
otherwise, it's quite similar,
I mean,
you
it
know.
is a prototype, so
It's a
you could
pusher,
probably be
the
like, what's
rotors
there
are out on the
beneath it?
wings. Why do they not fold down like that? That's what they're supposed to do. You know, you've seen it now.
I would like to point out that with an amphibious plane, you don't need vertical takeoff. Actually, vertical takeoff wouldn't work very well because of the surface area that's touching the water. The suction created would keep it from
Yeah.
getting up.
That is a very good point.
Okay.
So now you've seen that weirdness all going to the British airship. You go back to looking at Dale,
Yeah.
who's following Midas. Once it's clear that Midas is heading for the Bad Death, Dale then heads off to the hangars.
Okay. I'm going to meander in direction of hangars. Nothing else. I'm curious what everybody else is flying.
Okay. Are you going to be sneaking to the hangars or Boulder's Brass?
Well, she wears black jacket and black flight suit. There's no reason to make a noise. Don't want to disturb them though. So sneaky.
Sneaky.
I mean,
right.
I'm not doing a, you know, Scooby Doo, but
Go straight into the exaggerated sneak walk.
Yeah.
the adventure rules.
I like the emphasis of the little leather noises from Shard as you're like, I'm wearing a black flight jacket so I can sneak around without making any noise, and then you hear the leather sound.
Yeah. She wears a leather jacket over a normal flight suit. Fortunately, she isn't in a head-to-toe leather flight suit.
So let's have a.
So have you turned into a shrub or a rock now? Or is this not going to be original sin?
Yes. Okay, D4
Let's
and
have a stealth roll, please. Yes.
yeah, I'm just looking for my D4, which is here somewhere. There it is. Hiding behind my other D6. Including the best space I can actually have my dice tray in front of my monitor. Sorry, this is an achievement.
Yay!
Okay, well, that's epoxy 2 on the D4, but 6 explodes.
It does.
Thank you for wild tardiness. Total of 8.
Okay.
I can't make subtle rolls though, can I? Clunk.
That's fine. It doesn't matter. So, whoever Dale is,
Mhm.
Dale McKinney, they have a reasonably quick aircraft.
Okay.
Assuming it's the aircraft they go to and do what look like a series of pre-flight checks.
Yeah, as long as he's not cutting fuel lines, I'm going to assume it's his.
They are not cutting fuel lines, no. They are checking flaps, they are checking propeller. I don't have a picture of it, but it is a Hughes Bloodhawk,
Okay.
which is a single-engined, very thin pusher.
How- Do I know how it compares speed-wise to Midas' Dagger?
Generically, not as fast, but rumour has it that there are modifications that can be made to, at the cost of durability, make it faster.
Special modifications, right? Okay.
Can do the castle run in
In less than 12 parsecs.
12 parsecs, yeah.
Exactly.
It's certainly it's not an out-and-out race plane. The Bloodhawk is used by a number of militia and security air forces. It's got a reputation for being fast, doesn't pack much of a punch, and made of tinfoil, but
Okay.
normally is considered an interceptor rather than air superiority.
Right. So, is there anyone else around, or is it just him?
There's one other pilot around.
Mhm.
Again, one of the folks at the card table. The one that clearly was a member of the Raging Cajuns, who is just getting into their aircraft, which is, although it's landed and on wheels, it's a float plane.
Okay.
Again, moderately quick, speed-wise, unless it's been radically modified, which is unlikely for a Raging Cajun because they are known dogfighters.
Okay.
It's unlikely to be a threat to Midas. In fact, speed-wise, it's unlikely to be a threat to yours.
Right then. Okay. I guess in that case, I will follow Midas back up to Mobad Pit,
Okay.
and I may swing by the British Zeppelin just on the nice wide turn, so I get a proper approach to that day.
Yeah, all four planes are hanging beneath the British Zeppelin with a what looks like a fairly intricate amount of framework and scaffolding
Yeah.
rather than an internal hangar bay.
Now,
Okay.
I'm not looking at it, but on Mash's behalf, does it look like maybe it was retrofitted to carry planes rather than... Because ours, of course, has the internal base.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
even yours has been retrofitted. Yours is a cargo Zeppelin that has been retrofitted to carry planes. This is... It's difficult to see because you've never seen a Zep that small carry planes. So it's hard to think that someone would design a Zep to do that. But there's no way that size of airship could house that many planes.
Interesting.
Okay. On my flyby, can I see, by the way, how they are connected? Are we talking hooks and ropes, or
Hooks. They're all on arrestor hooks, same as...
okay? So it's not that we got some kind of weird rare earth magnets
No,
attached to the planes and.
no, they're on hooks.
I still think they've got a tractor beam to start with.
Fair enough. Okay. I will head back then. That works.
Okay. So, back on board. Any discussions ongoing? Or shall we skip to the morning?
I'm okay with skipping.
I'm okay with skipping. But I
Do you
am
have a consensus for skipping? I think we do.
is
Okay.
Masha, before she goes to bed, is going to actually do a quick sketch of the tilt rotor plane.
Okay. Do you have any sort of
Yeah,
art
you
skill?
do have an artist skill, don't you?
Possibly. Hang on. It just tabbed out for reasons known to somebody who's not.
Also, by the time that they get back to the airship, would we have time to get back, or is this all taking place during the time it takes us to actually get the stuff up?
I'm rolling a d4 minus 2. for
This
the
is
other skills.
all happening during the
Yeah,
time
alright.
that you are getting
Okay.
back. So you will all be back on the airship to discuss and exchange notes if you wish.
Eventually.
Oh, okay. So we've taken off from where we were.
Yep, you've got everything aboard.
Okay.
Yeah, Merlin flew us off after you and I got back on.
That's right. Okay.
Only
I?
3, unfortunately. with an
What is
explosion.
this strange lapse in memory I have?
Well, it was more, Knight said, you don't have to make a roll because you built the plane and know how it works, so it was just easier to have Merlin do it than have me roll again.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I didn't make a great job of it, but it's more an aid memoir, so I can talk to Merlin about it. Just on a, why can't we have this?
We can't have that because he's no good.
I'm a radio technician, not an engineer.
Yeah, see?
So he's
He can't
electrics, not
build you one,
aerodynamics.
but he can probably talk to somebody about it.
This is true.
I mean, someone built the aircraft or designed and built the aircraft you're flying. He designed and built the electrics that's inside it.
That's why when it catches fire, you blame me. But when it falls out the sky, you blame them.
Yes.
Yeah, the fiberglass plane catches fire. That's going to be
Oh dear.
Oh man, we need some underwing mounted flamethrowers.
No,
That is not where I thought
That's
that was.
why we're going with the crap duster.
I so need to link in Discord. There's a YouTube like Saturday morning matinee serial where the planes do that.
Nice.
I need to find it and link it. I watched it when I was looking for sort of inspiration and things for this. Don't worry, I didn't bring any of that in. I just thought, this is cool. I'll watch this and have it on in the background while I'm doing it. So, in the morning, it's Saturday morning. The races don't start yet. Today is the last day for sign-ups. It's also a open day. So anyone that's already signed up is welcome to have their planes on display, and the general public can look at their plane, look at the pilot, and generally go, "Oh, these are so cool! Can I get an autograph of my favourite racer, please?" That kind of thing.
Under the circumstances, then I think I know what Midas is doing today.
Uh-huh.
Moody is going to contact her employers basically and say, "Hey, I've got these two dead bodies that are people that you hired, and I would like them returned to their families."
Okay, so Moody's first order of the day, presumably a telephone call. There are telephones around. Very straightforward and easy to set up, and they will arrange collection.
Excellent. I don't know where these are going to go. I want them off of the ship that I'm protecting, obviously.
I'm sure that we've got some sort of refrigeration or freezing
That's
unit on the ship.
Yes, let's just put them with all the beef.
I know.
I mean,
Yeah.
so long as they're in a bag, it should be fine.
Oh,
Oh, this
There's
is
no
getting...
disease that is going to happen. It's frozen.
I
Diseases
never
don't
thought
move.
anybody would do this, but you're actually persuading me to go veggie.
I mean, I do think that Moody would be inclined to let the doctor handle the storage of the corpses. So she's just gonna, as long as they're off the
Come on, have you
prototype,
met the
she doesn't
doctor?
care.
We have an onboard morgue now? Oh, wonderful.
You have an onboard morgue, yes. It's the shared same space as your beef burgers.
Yep. I will put up a paper partition between the beef and the two bodies. Boom. Separate space.
There you go. A little curtain. Just
Look, they're in.
Or
They're
have like
in.
a
Getting
metal box
nervous.
lying around for storing parts that just happens to be human-sized.
The one thing I do forget to mention is I don't actually remember to tell the cook/cooking staff. So they're going to be freaked out when they open up the freezer.
It's just
We lose more
hanging
stuff
from a
that way.
hook.
No.
What horror game is this? We've jumped genre.
this just went really freaking dark.
Yeah. I meant it to be all nice and like we're returning these dead people to their families, and now it's just gone into meat.
Hey, we haven't eaten them yet.
Flight or Fright would make a really amusing horror game for like this type of.
Knight, if you find yourself needing the fear rules from Deadlands, just let me know.
There we do have some bodies floated around, so
Did you see his eyes though when you said flight or fright? There was an idea that happened there.
I misheard it as flight or fry now.
Everyone always forgets the third one of those. It's actually fight, flight, or freeze.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, there is a fourth F that never gets mentioned that actually rounds it out. But officially, it is supposed to be fight, flight, and freeze.
Yes.
Because they are
Fawn
the
is the fourth.
three options,
Fawn.
yeah.
Mm.
So, Fishy, I gather you will be then
will
taking.
Take Ellie down and show off, yeah.
Yep.
I don't know whether you want me to make a roll on my performance skill, which is Raconteur, or was Raconteur in Deadlands Classic before we swapped to Savage Worlds, to see how good a job he does of wowing the crowds.
Well, first off, because of course you're going to be flying it there because it's on the airship at the
Yes,
moment.
Indeed.
Will you be doing any showing off before you land?
God, yes. He's incapable of getting into a plane without barnstorming. He just doesn't know
Then
how.
I'd best have a piloting roll
Let's
This
have
is
a
where-
piloting roll.
To see
yeah.
just how well the showing off goes.
Midas
It's actually
lands,
pretty crap. I
and
mean,
then
it
decides to start telling his
succeeds,
tales.
but it's not very good. Only
Dang.
a 6, unfortunately. If that's not good enough, I can always spend a chip to re-roll it.
Well, that depends on how devastatingly awesome you'd like your fly past to be. I mean, it's an okay fly past,
Yeah,
but it's it's
spend-
not a
he'll-
photographer's ducking going, holy shit!
Yeah. No, he'll make do with okay, I suppose. He's only just got up, but he's a little slightly hungover from the night before. This is as good as he can manage at the moment.
So low-ish fly past, aileron roll, and
Yeah.
then back round to land.
Yeah.
Okay. So once
Not
you've
gonna try anything
landed,
too difficult like a split S.
once you've landed, the ground crews direct you to a point where you can then stop the plane. It's then towed back at tail end in, and a rope is then put around the plane so that the public can't actually get to your plane and touch it.
Excellent.
And now I'll have the performance roll to see how you do through the day.
Oh wow.
Now that bloody
That's
hellfire!
still going.
Wow!
Wow.
I think you might be good at this.
Good.
This is when in the many tales he
That-
tells, he exposes the top secret mission we just went.
For those who couldn't see that because they're not in Fantasy Realms, in Savage Worlds, all the player characters are what's called wild cards, which means when you make a roll, you also get to roll an additional 6-sided die.
Yeah.
I've got a D6 in performance, so I was rolling 2 6-sided dice. They both exploded, and then one of them just kept going. So yeah, that is a result of 26 on a D6.
Yeah.
Well, at least we know what you're good for.
Yeah.
Showing off, yes. we need
Wow.
grief.
He's clearly on
Gambling.
form.
That's five.
Gambling and making a good pick.
To French as necessary.
That's 5 raises, isn't it, Fish?
I don't know. I can't count that high.
I think
So,
so.
so a raise
I think it
is
is, yeah.
every 4 points above
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 the,
the-
the base target number, which is 4.
Yeah.
So 26 on a d6 with a target number of 4 gives us 5 raises.
Wow.
See,
Well done. The
Fish,
dice know what you're good at.
when it comes to luck, Fish has all the luck. He has the bad luck and the good.
And good, yeah. I just never
There-
seem to
there's
get
no
those
middle
balls
ground.
off in the middle.
So, Fish,
Of course, that's not true. I had the boring piloting role. In fact, both my notice earlier and my piloting were exactly an average
yeah,
roll.
that is true. That is very true. Yes, yes. So, Midas, you're there. It's first thing in the morning. You've had breakfast, and you start chatting with the crowds. And as the day goes on, the banter gets up. More planes arrive, and that helps fuel the stories, fuel the exploits. And but by the time Abelard Pepperdew arrives and is parked up in the next bay to yours, all the crowds are around you,
Yeah.
and he is visibly put out.
Jory, we really need some artwork for Pepperdew.
Which one?
Both. Can we get both in one picture?
Okay, I wonder if I have it in here. I don't think it's in this room. I'm almost done with the like Gardvark one of Pepperdew. So I could do one with like their back to back like
Love it. So Abelard Pepperdew, again flies the same style of plane as you,
Yeah.
Dawson Dagger.
Keep
And-
going Chelsea Dagger and I go off.
If you listen, you can pick up a few tips as to how one's supposed to fly a dagger.
And he's quite a he's not your average pilot. Most, especially racing pilots, tend to be slight of build and not too tall, not too short, because they still need to fit in this tiny cockpit.
hmm
He is kind of a portly chap, fairly short, and clearly is more a rich person playing at being a race pilot than a dedicated thoroughbred race pilot. He's got that air of, you should all admire me because I'm rich and I have this plane and I'm really good at this.
I wouldn't know anyone like that.
But
Yeah.
actually, they're all paying attention to you because you clearly are the better pilot.
Oh no!
The point why I had to switch out the engine because I was running out of fuel. Now, I mean, you look at Nellie here; she's not designed to glide. It takes a lot to keep a dagger in the air without the propellers going.
Is this the dagger I see?
So there I am. I'm moving forward and going down and down and down, and eventually, obviously, I got to turn the engine back on because if I don't, then I'm toast. But then I realized I've actually got quite a bit of height, so maybe I can make something out of this. So I nose down. Now, it's not an obvious thing to do. I'm in a plane with no engine at the moment, and it's not very good for gliding. So I'm pointing it at the ground, and the obvious thing is, well, my God, he's going to die. But no, you see, that sped me up. That gave me more lift, and I was able to like swoop. Gave me another quarter of a mile before I had to turn the engine back on.
I think he needs a chip for that.
I was about to say
man.
that is worth a chip.
Thank you. I mind if I do?
So and that is Midas's day. He's there wowing the crowds and annoying the heck out of Abelard Pepperdew II.
Yeah.
Well worth it.
What is Masha's duties for the day, and indeed for the rest of the crew, for Mithra, for
Yeah.
Monroe,
He's
Moody,
gonna say.
or for Merlin?
Well, Masha is competing, so we'll be spending some time making sure that the maquette is decently sorted out, fueled up, giving it a once over. Possibly posing slightly and laughing hysterically at what Midas is getting up to. As to the others, whether this is going to be on the radio conference or before she leaves, she's going to ask for an update on what they found in Savannah. Not just the dive site, but
Well, my understanding was that you returned to the Zeppelin after picking up the bodies because you obviously need to arrange so you can have that conversation now.
Yeah, we can have it face to face.
if it's by radio, it's because she's on the ground rather than
Oh.
dead with all the other planes. So, posing for women laughing with planes stop photos. Yes. Right. So, what did you find? Why?
I can't remember exactly what the documents were that I found. I know that the other person that we sent out there found a bunch of information on where to look. Yeah, it starts with a. It doesn't start with a V. S?
V and S very similar.
Don't laugh at me.
I don't have my.
You're talking about the reporter, Justine.
Yes, Justine. I was close. It was a J.
V.S. Justine.
I don't know
There's
what
no
keyboard
symbol.
or alphabet you're
Yeah,
using.
all
but-
the time. Yeah.
Yeah, rather
Because-
than I wouldn't throw stones given what happened earlier with the
With my what?
drivers.
With your driver.
Nah, I'll worry about it
Oh.
later.
Oh, right.
Yeah, see, Sustine. Thank you, Valkyrie.
Stephen King, actually, isn't it?
So I believe Justine actually found some information, but I don't remember what it was
Okay.
that would give us an idea of where to look. We actually successfully salvaged all of the diving equipment that will be needed for salvaging the ship if and when we find it.
Okay.
And we have 2 people that drowned in the crash. Well, one of them was dead prior to. It doesn't matter. They're being preserved for now to be picked up by the people that hired us, I'm guessing.
I've already handled the pickup communications, so we're fine on that.
Right. Okay.
Did what's his face? The names. Did the racer win this time?
The races haven't started yet.
Races have not started.
I thought there was a race already.
Nope.
No.
No. Okay, never mind.
No, there is a lot of posing and a certain degree of one-upmanship going on between the various pilots, which is
26 upmanship, as the case may be.
So
it is a little bit pointless, to be honest. I don't understand why so many egos.
so you're planning on knocking him down a peg or two?
I'm planning on ideally flying into at least one of them. It's perfectly possible to land a maquette on a smaller plane.
Well, just try not to get hurt. I can only fix you up so much.
Masha does not get hurt. Not often.
Hmm.
She says,
Now I have a
"Now,
question.
thread 1 meter thick across the land."
Go ahead.
I have a question. Since our pilot is getting a lot of attention, is that going to draw attention to the fact that we have a pretty interesting prototype ship docked here?
Well, it's inside the airship while we're here, and
Right, but the airship is still docked or whatever. I don't know the terminology, but the airship is in the area where the races are
so the
taking
airship
place.
is flying, and we do have a schematic for it, but it has basically a claw that comes down, and you fly into it, and it catches you and brings you up into it.
Yeah.
So all the planes are inside the hangar of the airship until they're being used.
Right.
It
And
is possible.
I'm just
that
I'm
might-
wondering
might
if
attract
anybody in the
attention to
odd.
that debt, though.
Sorry, say it
Because if
again,
people,
Fish.
yeah, it is possible that Midas might attract attention to the bad debt if he attracts enough attention, which he is doing.
Right. That's my
Some of those people,
concern.
most of those people are probably just going to be interested in him and Nelly, but some might pay attention to the Zeppelin that he came here on. In which case, we might need to be a little bit more cautious about what we're doing in case somebody is watching the Zeppelin. That is a very good point.
no,
That's fair,
that
but-
said,
Concern.
We're gonna need the prototype in order to land on
What level of
any
secrecy
place.
are prototypes under? Is it something they want to commercialize in the future? Because in that case, like a little bit of early publicity isn't going to be the end of the world. But
no one has hinted at that in either direction. No one has said it's top secret. You are simply field testing the prototype.
Mm.
Yeah.
But
Since my job is to protect it, my concern is that our fellow racers might not be necessarily the non-pirate type. So
well, you do know that
Well-
there are at least two
Yeah.
pirate-affiliated racers already signed up.
I wouldn't be too concerned about it simply because there are no guns on it. No one's going to want to steal a ship that can't fight. It doesn't have the right shape for flying fast.
is it obviously like a seaplane?
Yes.
Like, is it
What-
obviously okay? So, see, that's the thing is that it's valuable, right? Since it's a
if
unique
they can
machine.
recognize that value,
It's only valuable coastally or near a big body of water.
Like where we are right now.
Yeah.
Like where you are right now, but for someone
Yeah.
that might be based out of Skyhaven or Deseret,
Mhm.
it's not valuable at all because there'd be
Okay.
nowhere they could land it and use it for what it was designed for. So all that extra bulk that goes into having a hull rather than a fuselage and those two bloody great floats on either wing. Again, they are detrimental to its performance as an aircraft, but essential for its ability to land on water. If
Yeah.
you're based out of somewhere where you've got no intention of landing on water, it's useless to you.
I think our biggest concern would possibly be if the pirate affiliated racers are not doing well in the races. They might start looking at what other opportunities to make money there are, and
Yeah.
stealing a plane here
Yep.
and there would be one possibility. So I
Yeah,
don't think
that's my concern.
specifically because of what it is, but simply as a target of opportunity, it could get some attention.
Also, on the ground, when we're out in the wilds of the river looking for the boat, we should be looking out for any local rebellion or militia type force that might want to take a plane that they can use in their own territory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that you do need to do when launching any aircraft, not just the prototype, is that the bad debt needs to be in motion. Because unlike the Brits, if the bad debt is at a stop, your planes can't. So you can't dock while the Zep
Right.
is not in motion.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I
I'm-
guess.
by the way, I'm going to describe before Midas goes down. Actually, I'm going to describe what I saw with the VTOL. The
Oh,
tilt rotor.
ooh. I suppose we're not pirates,
Can I
are
take
we?
a knowledge
'Cause
influence roll since I have it.
Go for it.
I could use one of those planes. We could use one of those planes in terms of, I mean, that would have made salvaging the crash ship a lot easier just to be able to go up.
That's
Right.
a 5 on my knowledge airplanes, if that gives me anything at all.
Not anything you've come across before.
That,
This is when we plot twist, and it's actually going to turn into a massive heist story as we attempt to steal a
they
VTOL.
got, they got stuff we don't got. I mean, yeah, we got a prototype plane, but all our prototype plane does is float. Everybody's got one of those. That's not a.
That's not all it does. Thank you
They've got
very much.
something good.
Merlin's so
Yeah, so you
offended.
say, but we ain't seen no demonstration that you can actually it does anything at all.
Okay, you know what, Midas? How
Build
about
it,
this?
so I don't trust
You
it.
make enough money to build us a bigger cargo bay, and we can add more planes by stealing.
We don't need a bigger cargo bay. Look, they're showing us the way. All we need is one of these like weird frame things underneath that we can attach them to. Apparently that works fine.
We are not stealing their planes.
Oh, we're
Now,
stealing the
did I
ship.
say anything about stealing
The
planes? I
warship.
never said nothing about stealing planes. I just said they had some interesting stuff that we ain't got. I ain't never seen that before. I'd like a look. Yeah, maybe we borrow their planes just long enough for Merlin and I to take a quick look at it to see how it works.
Midas is thinking too small. What he needs to do is, if we steal their Zeppelin, we can glue them side by side with a carriage in between, which is just pure
Right.
hangar bay.
I love this
Yeah,
idea.
you don't get how stealing works, do you? The point is when you steal something, you put it under your jacket or your pocket or something. You don't just wave it in their faces and say, I'm taking this and walk out.
Moody's just listening to the conversation. She's just gonna like make sure that her gun has a full cache of bullets and stuff. Like just looking ahead to what might happen.
Oh, come on, Moody. It's
Although,
okay.
Actually,
You're not going to steal
we may
anything.
have something thinking about it because they're Brits, ain't they? So we could use British stealing. All we got to do then is paint a
British
flag on it.
Do we have a
Paint
flag?
over their logo. This is ours now.
Does
Hey,
that work?
It worked for my ancestors, okay?
Technically, it also worked with the crap duster. So
Almost right.
I mean, so really, we just need to go over there, the gyrocopter, and just paint a big old mural of our company logo on the side of their ship.
Yep.
Oh, goodness.
We can repossess it.
Revisit.
Hello, Cat.
We are not stealing. We are not possessing. If they attack us, then we shoot them down, then we salvage. But I doubt they will.
How do we get them to attack us in such a way that we can win and not lose out on a good?
I don't normally have any trouble with that. I just have to hang around and people attack me.
Perhaps we could have.
That's why I'm worried about the prototype. You're drawing
perhaps
so
we
much
could
attention.
have a little bet. Maybe with Brits. Maybe Midas wins. We win one of their tilt rotor planes for a
That is
little
not a
while.
bad idea.
What
That
what
means
do they
we
win?
also need to bet something of like equal value
Yeah,
to
with
Oh.
Midas.
state of the art technology.
Let's offer
We got a
Midas up as,
prototype of our own.
no.
No.
The prototype is
There are
off the
many
table.
reasons I don't want other people to get their
I
hands
think-
on radar, but you know.
I think what we should be offering them is their side of the bet will be one of their planes. We're going to offer up Midas.
Exactly, that's what
Actually,
I just
that's
said.
probably a
Nobody
relatively
listens to
fair
you.
deal.
Yeah, whatever. Because I ain't gonna lose anyway. So
Well, the thing is, what we do is we offer one night with Midas in return for one night with plane.
Oh,
This is
I
your
know
sequel
one
to
who
now
Midas
has
can't
one
see
night
them
in
having any
Bangkok going through their head, but
objection
it's
You
one night
are
with Midas.
not. One night with Midas and the world's your
You get to test
No
the
much
golden
between
touch for
despair and
yourself.
ecstasy. That's a bit worrying, actually. I don't know what that
Single
says
use
about
Midas.
Midas.
You have to change very little. Very
Night
little
your
words, really.
face. I like how we've already decided the
Who was
terms
it
of
said
bet without
the
even
one night with
speaking.
Midas? Who started the one night with Midas?
that was Drut.
Have a token. Have a chip drop.
Also, one night with Midas, is that just they all get one night with Midas and he just dares it for whoever takes the Indian time during that night?
Just a week later, you see Midas with someone else. Like, is that who you with today?
It's when he starts walking around
Passed
like,
around like
he'd
some
just gotten off a
accessory.
horse.
Yeah.
The thing is, we offer one night with Midas and then Justine gets jealous. Is that not right? You and Justine? I mean, you
There's
bought her a
plenty to
book,
go
I
around.
assume you wanted to walk her feeder and all that such.
Justine's
Look, I
currently
heard
still
he
up
had
in
a golden
Savannah.
touch,
It's like walk
so I
and
mean,
feed her,
you
like,
gotta
you
share
said, with a
that.
pet.
Yes, exactly. Justine is pet. Is that not right? I thought that was where heavy petting came from.
Is there a way we can give chips to members of the audience as well? 'Cause I want to give Molly the chip.
We need to build that into some bot mechanism somewhere.
Yeah, we need some kind of reward mechanism now
Mm.
for the audience, definitely.
I also want a facepalm counter. I know I keep saying it, but please,
Yeah.
can we program that into the bot? Because
Should be.
every
Yeah.
single session there's at least one, and I love it.
I'll make a note, and there will be a
There's
facepalm
also-
counter for next session.
There's also when Drut hangs her head, which happens quite a lot.
Yeah, it's the same
That counts as a
general.
face palm, I
Yeah.
reckon,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a facepalm.
That's a
It's just
face
instead of bringing palm to face, she brings face to palm. It's the
Yeah.
same thing.
there's an element of that's what you tend to do if you've got glasses on.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
That you don't want to do that because they're expensive
Yes.
and
I just
still.
assume you're crying in terror for the people that you're playing with.
You could just protect them.
Yeah, I haven't managed to get them yet because they sold out the ones I was going to get.
Oh dang.
Which
I love that we're all going to have completely different styles of aviator goggles too,
Absolutely.
because they're
It has to
not
be
like
done.
We don't- It's not like they're being issued by the company that owns the bad
Bad
debt.
Debt
It's all our
Corporation.
personal equipment. So yeah.
the ones I'm looking at on, I think 1950s Soviet
Nice.
Nice.
flying out or
Dang.
actual.
oh, do they have like
X.
fluffy, like
They've got the bits
fur?
on the outside, yeah.
Right.
But
Still
yes, the
seriously
first pair.
considering the flying helmet
out.
to go with it, but I don't know.
Fish, I think, is the flying helmet.
Money I can't
very
really
well.
afford to spend, but I'm
But
still awfully.
You do then need a white scarf. White
Yeah.
cotton
Oh,
scarf with
scarf.
wire running along the inside seam
Yeah.
so that you can have it
Yeah.
permanently out.
Yep.
Yes.
Unfortunately, my helmet never showed up, and I need to check my emails for why.
Aw.
Anyhow, getting back to things. So,
Well,
Midas,
back at the
we know
game,
what Midas is
uh,
doing pretty much all day.
Yeah.
Masha is doing what again? Remind me.
Masha, after debriefing these people, we're basically waiting until Justine gives us a location, aren't we, before we can send them out?
Well, from investigation work that Mithra did, you
Yeah.
know that there is one place that you can go and check. There's the old Felton house.
Uh-huh.
Tom Felton was the last known person that had any dealings with anything related to the Water Witch, and gave a lot of stuff to the museum that Mithra went to.
Okay.
Right.
I'm just wondering,
I know I wrote this down somewhere.
so if I don't stick around for the show and tell today, does that disqualify me?
There's no requirement to. It's purely a promo opportunity for those that want to.
Yeah, the maquette can take a couple of passengers if I recall correctly.
Yep.
So I would suggest in that case Masha, who possibly kind of has persuasion and intimidation out the wazoo. Quite a lot. Might be an idea that we can go and have a poke around.
Now
See if we
you
can
don't
find
have an
ourselves
address. You just know it's the. Oh no, you were given a rough area, but not the
Yeah.
full address. Like, oh
Well-
yeah, Felton. Tom Felton. He was over that way somewhere.
Okay.
So it's somewhere in the Savannah area.
That narrows it down. Property records. Town hall. City hall. Whatever you wish to call it. I believe it's probably best bet.
So who's going with you on that jaunt?
The logical one is going to be Method did the research.
Yeah, I've got good research and academics. Well, decent academics.
I'm kind of loath to leave Merlin alone, unaccompanied.
Well, it wouldn't necessarily be alone. You've got.
I'm sticking with one of the two at least. So,
Content needs player supervision at all times.
And by one of the two, Moody, you mean the plane or
Well,
Merlin?
at the moment, it looks like both Merlin and the plane are in the same place, so you're good on that.
yeah, that's where I'm staying.
Yeah, since if we don't need a seaplane for this jaunt, then we may as well take the maquette instead of risking the prototype.
My
Outfit.
intention was to like see what I could work out about the VTOLs or whatever.
Okay.
Because obviously I'm assuming you've like handed over the drawing that you made.
Yeah, it is basically. Which I mean, it's not quite at the stick figure stage, but it will basically show this twisted outfit.
Oh, I forgot to mention, someone else was asking around after the Water Witch at the same place that I found the name of this guy.
Who was that?
Don't know, didn't get a name.
Description.
All that you were told, if you remember, was that they had a foreign accent, possibly French.
Foreign action, possibly French, but around here, everyone thinks that someone that's speaking a different language that's slightly European is French.
Oddly enough, nobody ever accuses me of being French.
Yeah, that's because you're Russian.
Yeah, that's not a European accent.
Russian and Ukrainian.
What?
I think Robinson said that's not a European accent. Because I'm going to buy him a Atlas now.
It's it doesn't really count.
Part of Russia is European, the other part is not.
Yes.
It's not enough European.
Not enough European.
Wow. Wow.
Wow. You're not European enough,
Says the Brit.
says the Brit. Yeah.
It's not enough.
okay,
European.
I
You
got
can
accused
tell
of
by
not being
measuring how much
European today.
Farage hates it.
That's the point, yeah. Okay.
Fish coming back just at the right time there.
Hmm.
Sorry, it just for all the world like you were just downing a bottle of vodka then.
No, it's
Whiskey.
Ah,
Scotch.
okay.
Yeah, I thought it might be whiskey.
nearly empty as well.
You need to do a hidden geography quiz. Chrono, I beg you don't. I make Mike look good at geography. I am awful
Same.
at it.
So,
I think
what I'm
next
taking away from
Wednesday-
this is that we're all awful at geography. So yes, Chrono, do a hint geography quiz. It will be hilarious.
It would.
Yeah, I was gonna say next Wednesday or so, we should just do a games thing where we just play Trivial Pursuit or something.
Also, I mean, in terms of
Hate
the next time that a game doesn't run, we could also have whoever is available pop in, and if Chrono's available, do
Insta
it
quiz.
like this.
And that would
Okay.
mean nobody could study ahead of time either. 'Cause it would
Oh,
just be
fantastic.
Also, since it's hint plays, you could totally hit us with the geography of Faerun, or
I have enough trouble with real Earth geography, let alone anywhere else. So,
yeah.
Robinson,
Giving you ideas.
you are heading to investigate the VTOL. Moody, are you going to be accompanying Robinson? Given that the
Yeah.
prototype is fairly secure in the
Yeah.
bad debt. Okay.
I mean, I kind of need him in one piece to be able to make sure that the prototype stays in working order. So,
Cool.
I feel like I'm a piece of equipment.
you are.
You
I
are.
mean, to Moody, you kind of are. I'm sorry.
So,
You're a means to an end.
Probably not.
Wow.
The first time we've heard that.
I kind of like Moody, and at the same time, she's kind of scary.
That's what I was going for, so thank
Yeah.
you.
Right on the money. So, Masha, that's you and Mithra heading up to Savannah.
Yes.
Okay.
I will inform Midas of where we are going, on the grounds that he will not care, but he needs to know there is no backup when his ass gets kicked. Or at least he needs to ask Moody nicely.
Honestly, this is kind of a long shot. I don't know how much information we'll really learn. He's a history nerd, specifically looking for this ship for a long time, but it's the only lead that we got.
I'm simply thinking you are American. He may be wishing to speak to American more than he's wishing to speak to Ukraine.
Fair.
And failing all else, I have intimidation skill at high level, so I can scare him.
I don't think that will be necessary, but I guess we'll keep that on the back burner, maybe? Way back in the back?
It doesn't have to be necessary. Sometimes it can simply be expedient.
Or fun.
Yeah.
I did not say fun. Fun was nearly at mouth when expedient slipped in on
I wish there was a kinesics skill because I'd like to roll kinesics on Misha to see if they were actually enjoying thinking about intimidating.
Notice. It's a notice
Notice
skill.
to do it.
Some of the notice in this, wasn't it?
Notice covers
Hey.
a wide range of sins.
Yeah, or
so-
careless arrival is lying, frightened, happy, etc. So it doesn't become under
4. I only rolled a 4.
Not going to be
I
enough
can
on this
tell
one.
you that I can tell you that expression was very Rukahawa. Very much the sort of slightly thoughtful expression. Usually, his characters in films, just before they do something utterly appalling to somebody, they have that slightly philosophical expression. That kind of.
This might be enjoyable. I might learn something from this.
Yeah, it's the I've got to do this, and then at 6 o'clock I'm picking up the kids.
That's probably the same expression that Mithra gets every time she's about to operate on someone.
So, can I have notice rolls, please, from both Mithra and from Masha while you're in the air on the way to Savannah?
Okie doke.
Oh, nice. I don't even ask if I can smoke in the cockpit. I'm just sitting there looking out the window, smoking my pipe.
No, you're not.
You gotta keep your hands on the rudders.
You would be astonished. You're not getting as far as lighting the pipe.
What?
You're not getting as far as lighting the pipe.
Oh my god. Just crack a window. It's not like we're flying that fast.
Because if nothing else, I'm
Crack
not
a window.
having my plane smelling of pipe smoke. No.
Hey, this is
So
expensive.
what role is that? Like, is this opposed
No.
like
We could,
agility
we
will-
could be
role?
getting
to
into
try to,
combat
like-
here.
If Misha won't let me, I won't. Uncultured sap.
Wow.
I'm willing to either use intimidation or fighting, depending on how dedicated he wants to have to his pipe. I'm thinking in terms of basically what I want in a plane is to be able to have full fault detection, such as smelling smoke if something goes wrong.
I
And I don't
Not
want it masked by your best vanilla flavor cherry.
understand that you want to make sure that everything is safe and not going wrong. That's still very uncultured and too technical.
Do you smoke when you have people on operating table?
1950s? Hell yeah, I do.
1930s.
30s, so definitely.
1930s.
No,
The people on the operating table are smoking.
Time out. I'm very sorry. No.
The promotional material at this point is expostulating how good for you smoking is.
Yes, but
Yeah.
not while actually looking at someone's lungs from the inside.
That's why you have assistants to hold the smoke over here so that you can lift your head, take a drag, and start cutting.
I don't know. Lungs make pretty good ashtrays.
Jesus, Robinson. Jesus. Right.
What is this episode? We have bodies in a
Derails.
freezer. and-
Derailed.
Yep,
This is called character development.
So
Who,
this
who
is what.
thought Crimson Skies was going to need content warning body horror?
Yeah. I was not expecting this, folks. I was not expecting body horror. Not in this episode, anyway.
Does that mean a chip?
Not for body horror, no. Moving swiftly along.
However, I would like a chip for the arguments for
Yes.
Shard.
That's
Because
valid.
I think Mira deserves it.
I agree.
Where's Myth? Is that Myth?
Mithra, sorry.
What? Who deserves what for what?
I think you deserve a chip for the
You're
argument.
getting a chip here. Just
Oh,
calm down and take the chip.
Calm down, take your chip like a like a good doctor.
Yes.
Hey.
You were awarded a chip for the argument in the situation and the in-characterness of it.
Yeah.
I roll a d12 plus 2 for healing. I am an excellent healer. Whether or not it's scientifically accurate is invalid.
And you'll notice, Roll, as you're wistfully looking out the window, missing the fact that you can't smoke,
Yeah.
um,
Mine was 7, by the way.
you both notice this then. There's difficult to tell at this distance whether they're following you or just going in the same direction as you, but there is another plane on your flight path.
Oh,
Don't
hey,
let them bother you, but you can see that the pilot is maliciously smoking at you.
is that the extra bit that I noticed? Are they smoking in their cockpit?
So what as they come past, I can just hear from their over slightly cracked window, ding, 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 ding. I am so sorry for people not born in the 1990s.
Are there guns on this ship that are rotational? Rotational? I have no words today. Does this airplane have guns that I can shoot at them from here if I need to?
There is a turret, yes.
There is a rear turret that is controlled from the cabin here.
Yeah, you don't have to wing walk to get to the rear turret. If it's in the images, by the way, if you bring up the maquette stalwart.
It is indeed. Bear with me. It should already be shared.
That is what I am sure. That's what I explain.
Now, Mithra was there when we were flying to Savannah, and so would most likely be able to tell if this is the same plane that was
Mhm.
going the same direction.
Does it look like the same kind of markings? Actually, the plane that we saw didn't have any markings on it, did it?
Too far away to tell at the moment.
Fair.
May or may not be.
I'm going to go ahead and sit back in the seat that does control those back turrets and keep an eye on those planes.
Yeah. I'm not going to do the accent at the moment because my brain is just melting on it. And if I do it too much, it does go French, which is good because if I try and do a French accent, I can't.
I'm sorry. Robin, you drinking that really, really orange drink where everything else is gray makes your skin look gray, and the orange is just like, now I'm thinking of Schindler's List.
It
that
does.
whole-
Yeah, it does kind of pop.
It does.
Yeah.
It looks like you've been colour popped, yeah. Which is a
Really?
little bit on the freaky side.
Yeah.
Um,
And just
I'm
to those
actually
watching,
like
I
pure
haven't
vampire
colour
colour
popped
at the
him.
moment.
Given how
I
much
haven't
he
seen
drinks,
sunlight for a
is
few
there
days.
some chance we can get sponsorship from LucasAid for him?
that's a
Thank you, Kat.
I can't show you because I put 2 bottles in the thing this morning, but
In
I
the
have this
thing.
one,
Yeah, that's enough,
that-
Robin. So we
that
don't
one.
need to. We
Oh
are
my
not,
God.
that
unfortunately,
one,
sponsored by.
Stop, we're not-
LucasAid.
that one.
Stop!
Robinson,
There's
stop.
2 more over there that I can't reach.
Stop it.
We are not yet sponsored. Don't waste it.
So,
Hello.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah, at the moment, all you can see is it's a plane. You can't even tell what sort of plane it is at this
Okay.
distance. It's just a
one
plane.
how
plane.
far back? How far back are they?
It's a good ways back. It's way out of gun range. It's literally a speck with wings. That's how far back it is.
Okay. Let's make life interesting and see if they are following us. I am going to hang a hard starboard.
Hard to starboard and basically head out to sea.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
He's going to turn down an alley to see if they follow.
I will note that I did strap in appropriately because I.
Sit down casually, leaning one arm on there with your unlit pipe, whinging that you can't light it.
Oh,
All of a
my
sudden, the
unlit
plane
pipe
banks.
is
He
still
falls
held
to
in
the
my
guns,
teeth.
let off a burst as he hits the trigger.
Okay, yeah, I am
So-
hanging hard starboard.
Okay, and another notice roll from each of you, please, for a little while after the starboard turn.
Oh, hello.
You as well, Mithra, please.
14.
How much, sorry, Drat?
14.
4.
Okay. They indeed have not banked to follow you and have continued on their trajectory.
Let's follow them.
Hmm.
Okay, in that case, I'm going for another starboard, which will bring me in behind their
Yep.
original trajectory.
Well, another starboard will have you going back the way you came.
Shut up, you know what I mean. I want to loop back around.
You're going to loop round.
It is.
Yeah.
It is likely that these are the same people that were looking into the sky.
Well, if they've gone to all the effort of finding him, then why should we do so? We let them lead us to him, and then we beat the living shit out of them, steal their plane, and replace the Catbuster. I just love how if I keep it relatively expressionless, no one quite knows whether I'm joking or not.
Okay, so
Didn't
you
you
get
have
back
a
round.
problem with us talking about stealing before?
Yes,
But
But in this
she's
case, it
in
wouldn't be
charge,
Steve?
so
I have a
if
problem
she
with them
brings it up,
Okay.
You lot stealing. Yeah, that's bad.
Uh huh.
Do as I say, not as I do. Okay, so. beat the
So
crap
you loop,
out of them.
you loop back round, and now
Okay,
you're on the same trajectory as them, and they are a slightly bigger dot because of the distance and time involved.
yeah,
Bigger dot with wings. Might be a float plane.
interesting. I should have bought the other one. Okay, but the guy we were looking for is in or outside Savannah, isn't
Yep.
he? He's not on a houseboat or something. Right. Mash has ever been cute in her entire life. Right. Okay, Batman. Oh dear God, he is. Fair
What?
enough. Just look at chat.
yes.
I'll do that when I start streaming again, though.
Yeah, that's fair. Right. Okay, I am going to accelerate. I'm going to push the throttle a little
Okay.
and try and close the distance somewhat.
Yeah.
See if I can get a better identification on the plane, get some color ID, and if it comes to it, I am willing to pass them and see if we can see any the code written on the side of the or on the other side.
Okay. Cool.
Piloting?
No, you're not pushing the plane to massive levels. You're literally just throttling up,
Okay.
and it takes a few minutes, but you can now confirm that it is a float plane. Chances are it's a, and I've got to look for the full manufacturer. I've got it written down. Bear with me 1 second. Who is creaking in their leather?
I have no idea.
Everyone's wearing. Every time
Who
one of you
isn't?
moves, there's like leather creaks.
Well, this at least is vintage enough that I think it's worn its own creak out.
I don't think this creaks very much.
This has been oiled multiple times and worn very little since I moved down from Alaska because it's not cold enough down here to wear it all the time.
Fair enough.
That's fair.
So yeah, it looks like it's a Dassault Dauphin. You're right, right?
Yeah, it's alright. Sounded more dramatic than it was.
Okay.
Panicked. I thought I'd had a bit of a cascade and I hadn't.
Yeah. The plane that you're looking at matches the rough silhouette of a Dassault Dauphin, which is a French-built plane, and it is the plane used by the member of the Raging Cajuns that you saw in the hangar bay.
Oh, okay. What are the Raging Cajuns up to? Are they one of the pirate groups?
They are a pirate group.
Oh, are they now?
Supposedly, they've kind of shrunk back in after had their butts handed to them fairly recently. Most of them now hang out around in Skyhaven because
Right.
that's where all the pirates go to live. It's
Yes.
pretty much lawless there.
Yeah, I remember. That was kind of Piratesville. So is it you, Shard?
I think
I think it is.
Yeah, it's probably Shard.
Yeah, every time Shard moves, crinkle, 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 crinkle.
it's like sound effects for beard stroking is like.
Strokey beard meeting.
And can I have another notice roll from each of you, please?
Can. Oh, hello. Oh, okay. Let's find out which one.
I got a 9.
I got a 9 and I got a 16, and I'm counting. Hang on.
What's exploding?
Yes, that
They're
is
both
a
exploded.
21.
Jesus,
I had
right.
both explode,
Right.
and then yeah, the D8 went a bit. Whee!
She
Okay.
got my 26 earlier on, and she had to respond, didn't she?
Yeah,
Couldn't
but
just let it stand.
It's
Right.
only 21.
Well, you've been in the air a little while now. You're approaching Savannah, so the Raging Cajun is slowing down, getting ready for approach. You're getting ready to slow down. You're doing all your
Yeah.
checks, and there's another plane behind you.
What's there now?
Well,
Where now?
And Drut, you although it's still kind of a speck and silhouette, you can see enough of it to identify it as one of the VTOLs that the Brits had, because it's got those two whacking great engines halfway out the wing.
Really fucking popular. Anyone would think he has information that we need.
what if this whole race was planned as a thing to hide the fact that someone or a bunch of people were looking after this? The actual race is to find that stupid ship.
I think it's quite possible. I also say that we retain the knowledge that Midas is actually irrelevant to this whole situation until we really want to rub it in.
Oof.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not really an issue from Midas's point of view, because as far as he's concerned, this
Right.
situation is irrelevant to him.
Yeah.
You've got it the wrong way round.
He's,
I mean,
He's already
there.
he's getting what he wanted out of it. He's getting
Yeah,
the exposure and the notoriety.
Exactly.
We should radio back to the ship and let Moody and Merlin know
Yeah.
to keep an eye out for at least these two groups and their activities around the area.
Yes.
And that's where we're going to cut back to Moody and Merlin, because they're now playing catch up. Because
Camera zooms out, zooms back in.
Or is this one of those like Star Wars screen slash type things?
Oh, we're going for a mix, are we? Right.
Now, I think it's the 60s
that-
Batman spinning screen.
I was gonna
I'm
say
up
it,
for
what
that
it is. It's like The Simpsons where it has the plane go by with the banner.
Yeah.
Either way, so the pair of you are checking out the British Zeppelin for the VTOL aspect of its planes. What exactly are you doing? What is your plan of attack? Or
Well,
sorry, your plan of
First of all,
investigation.
I'm
Let's
going
get the
to
right
upgrade
words.
the sketch from not quite stickman level to approximately,
Actually, Stickman level.
yeah, actually stickman level. Just nice little frame line. No, but just to like change it from a rough shape to what I'd expect it to look like.
Okay,
Just so that I have like a mental reference.
right.
for
Make a
myself.
knowledge engineering roll.
I just try to use my mouse when I need to use my trackpad.
Trait roll was a natural one. Good job. You've got the luck, the wild card.
I
dice.
was trying to remember whether that was a good thing or a bad thing in this system.
That's a bad thing, but
Yeah.
Not relevant in this instance.
Yeah, not relevant
Yeah.
in this instance because we don't have botches or anything similar.
That's
just
There are
don't
specific
succeed.
hindrances, for example, that might be triggered on a straight roll of 1, irrespective of your actual result. But unless you've got one of them, it's not.
Exactly, yeah. You don't have one of them. So, you congratulate yourself on turning the basic sketch that you were given into something a bit more relevant. Not enough to build a working model of, but you've got an idea of what they've done with it and where all the bits might be. And that's of one of the two types of plane they have. Now, what you can see from the arrangement they've got hanging under the Zeppelin is that it looks like the Zeppelin was built specifically in this manner,
Okay.
which is an unusual way to. It's a fairly small Zeppelin, but given that all the carrying is done on the outside, the entirety of the balloon is lifting gas rather than, as in the case of the Bad Debt, where there's a chunk of the interior of the balloon that is hangar bay. So it's probably got a similar lifting capacity, just all the heavy lifting's done on the outside rather than the inside. And while you're studying it, they detach from their dock and start heading off.
Could it be described as like a modular construction,
Um,
or
not-
does it look like they are actually part of one thing? I'm just thinking like whether they built it that way so they could change the undercarriage.
They could possibly hang just about anything they want from the hooks, but they've still got to get it onto the hook.
Mm.
So it's not unless the hooks are winchable, it's not ideal. If the hooks are winchable, then yes, feasibly they could sacrifice a aircraft slot for a container slot, just by strapping a container into the hook.
Okay.
Potentially. But while you're watching and trying to work out how all these bits and pieces work, the Zeppelin has detached from its docking, gradually circled the airfield, gaining altitude, and then all 4 planes drop at once.
Oh,
And
can't watch 4 planes at once.
You can only count to 3.
clearly he's not a drummer. Because drummers can count to 4.
No, it's just it's the it's the eye limitation.
Yes.
I only have 2 eyes, so it's like
If,
trying to keep track of 4 is gonna give me some weird headaches.
yeah, all 4 planes.
Do your 2 eyes move independently?
It's like a chameleon.
Your
Chameleon,
next
just like
invention-
one's over there, one's up there.
Your next invention, then, Robinson, needs to be a series of mirrors that can be independently maneuvered in such a manner as to let you look at 4 things at the same time.
Exactly, yes. He can have mirrors directing vision in from
Yeah,
various
just
points.
putting everything down directly in front of you so that it's just taking
See-
areas from different parts of your 360-degree spectrum. You can look at things behind you as well and just present you directly.
Just
And
make
here, I was going
behind
to
your
suggest an idea to him that would be practical. Building 2 runways on either side above the blimp portion, and a crane that puts airplanes on those runways, and they can take off at the same time while dropping a plane out the bottom.
just
How did
Battlestar
anyone
Galactica
think?
the blimp.
How did anyone think this session was going to go? Because I'm 90% sure not like this.
Yeah, I'm with you, Dra. This is. I didn't know how it was going to go, but not like this was.
I'm really
Yeah.
sorry.
It's cool. It's cool. So as you're watching, it's dropped all 4 planes at once. Each plane rapidly falls off the bottom of the airship until their forward momentum gives them enough lift to gain altitude again. One of them heads northwards, roughly in the direction of Savannah. The remaining 3 head out to sea.
3 to sea.
and the Zeppelin then loops round and eventually redocks.
That's not suspicious at all.
There's no way to take off unless the blimp takes off as well, isn't there?
No, you've got the autogyro. You can drop the autogyro
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, because what I was thinking was it would, under the excuse of a test flight again, to trick the observer, so to speak. Let's go with observer. But like using that to sort of tail them from a distance that's not quite visual range, but I suppose that'd be too risky. I'm not competent enough for that.
And your reasoning would be that you need to observe more
I
about
need to
the...
calibrate the radar.
Huh?
Look, we have these convenient targets that we can just follow at a safe distance while I make sure the radar is pinging all three of them independently. A perfect
Moody's not
time.
the smartest. She'd probably believe you.
Honestly, that is the most brilliant excuse I've ever heard. I think he deserves a token for that.
Yeah, I think.
I'm
it's
inclined to
quite-
agree with that. Token delivered.
But you know,
Okay,
it's
but you
feasible.
Yeah,
The only problem
she would
is
buy that.
getting, because obviously, I'm guessing I'd need permission from Masha to have the blimp take off.
Yes.
So that would be the hard. But I'm gonna have to radio in anyway to explain this because you know suspicious things have happened and the planes she wanted me to look at have now flown off over the sea where we happen to also have an interest.
Yeah.
Well, and they were gonna. That might be like where the timelines converge.
about
'cause
to
they
say
were gonna
that-
call it
that-
up anyway.
That matches up nicely for everyone to be in radio's reach at the same time.
Except
So-
we pick up the radio at the same time and thus can't hear each other because we're
No,
trying to call each other at the same time.
I'm not that much of a
You're all-
git.
You're all desperately trying to talk to each other at the same time, and all any of you can hear is Midas telling yet another story. Accidentally leaning on the transmit button.
Oh my god.
So, Merlin and Moody enter the Bad Depths radio room as Mash is calling in from wherever Masha is at. And that's when we cut across to Midas.
See, I told you. That's all you can hear is just Midas.
Midas,
Okay.
you can see that Pepperdew, bless his cotton socks, is getting really, really annoyed. So he, from where you're standing and giving your speech to the crowds of adoring people, literally they are 3 deep around your little roped off area. The marshals then clear everyone out of the way, including your crowds, because he's firing up his plane and taking off.
That's just rude.
He's shown out to the runway, you know, the guys with the wavy bits. I can't remember what the... Are they still marshals?
Marshals, yeah.
Yeah, I think they would.
He's marshalled out to the runway, at
Yeah.
which point they then rope that area off and the crowds fall back in on you.
I gotta say, I don't know who this fella is, but he's got a fine choice in planes. I mean, look at that. That is a Dawson Dagger, which is what Nelly is. And I will say now, you know, that's probably every bit as good as Nelly, because Nelly, I don't rely on gimmicks. It's not overcharged engines or, you know, special fuel additives or anything like that. No, it's all just about seat of the pants flying. All about the skill.
Uh-huh.
But that is a lovely plane, and it's quite well maintained. I mean, look at it. It's obviously put a lot of work into that, because it's important with a plane like this, because they're a bit finicky sometimes, you know, so you gotta keep an eye on them, and you gotta make sure they're well maintained, because if something goes wrong, well, if something goes wrong with a plane like that, then it goes wrong probably. I can tell you that.
Can I have a notice roll from you, please, Midas?
Can you have any notice roll for me? I think it's Ooh, that's terrible. No.
Oh.
That is
No.
That
indeed
is
terrible.
terrible.
Yes, right.
This is about my own ego? No, I can't see it.
You know what? I've got 4 chips. I'm going to re-roll that.
Blow it.
So this is what the chips can get used for, to re-roll and hope for a better roll.
There we go. Using a chip to re-roll my notice. That's rather more like it. That's a 7, which beats the 2 I got last time.
Indeed. That is enough to notice that A, once he's airborne, he tries for a low pass, but misjudges the altitude and sharply has to pull up before grounding his plane.
I think this guy's a stalking horse, you know. I don't think he's
Okay, so you see,
flying.
now when it comes down that low, you can just see I want to point out a detail on the aileron there as he goes over.
And you do. And the other thing you notice is that amongst your crowd of adoring fans is Dale, who you won the cards from last night.
You'd wonder whether you were going to say that.
Yeah.
They're not saying anything. They're just taking in everything that you're telling, and when the crowd cheers and claps, they cheer and clap along with the crowd.
Just
And it
very
doesn't seem-
tentatively,
it doesn't seem
gathering
put on.
information.
Yeah.
It seems genuine.
Problematic romance?
Is
So,
Midas gonna get his butt kicked for winning at poker?
I was expecting that to happen last night, to be fair.
No.
so back to the radio conversation.
Please, give it to me. Merlin, you're the one calling us.
Am I calling first? Because I thought you,
Masha was calling.
Mike said that we got in as you were calling.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So we are. I'm going to ask for the competent one. So expecting Moody. You might want a child on as well.
Well, you're both in the radio room, so whichever one of you wishes to reply can.
Yeah, I'll.
Is this the
Moody
holding
here.
the phone upside down type thing?
Why?
I
Why
can't
did
hear you and
It's-
just take
why
it.
did
And
everyone
just...
take
It's not a phone. It's a speaker, and there's a microphone with a button.
Okay.
The plane now landing on platform 4.
Is landing at the train station unless in completely the wrong place.
Yeah. Don't say trains, 'cause that's just still painful memory from last night.
Train pulling it now arriving at platform 3, 4, 5, and 6 has come in sideways.
Yes.
I had the same thought, Fish.
Yep. Okay.
Multi-track
uh,
drifting.
So, Moody, is prototype Hakugai safe? Secured.
Sorry, say that one more time.
Is the prototype secured?
It is. We also observed some interesting activity from the planes that you wanted us to look at that are docked outside the Zeppelin.
Let me guess, they're flying towards Savannah.
There is one flying towards Savannah. There are 3 flying toward the water.
Yes, he's flying behind us.
Have you made contact? Any kind of
Not yet.
aggressive action?
We are considering making contact. We are considering making contact with bullets, but we have not yet.
I was going to say the same thing.
Cancel contact.
Moody
We come in
approved.
his shoot to kill.
But if the others are loose, I would regard with caution the docking bay, just to be absolutely safe. Probably if you could alert Midas on the ground, that would be appreciated as well, since he does have guns.
We will do so. Would you like us to pursue the ones that are flying out onto the water, or stay put?
No. At the moment, I would prefer you not to take our base away.
Understood.
And also, I'd like you not to be flying around in very valuable and safeguarded prototype.
Understood.
Okay.
We will stay here. We will alert Midas to the situation and keep an eye out for those planes.
Absolutely. If they come back and stop firing, we do have onboard guns, don't we? Or bad debt.
Yes.
Do we have defensive guns?
No, the bad debt does not
It-
have.
It-
The
it
bad debt
places
has.
you can shoot from, if I remember rightly. That's as far as its defences go. There are places where people with guns can
Yes.
stand fire.
Oh, that was it.
I
Fingers
got
up.
that covered.
Never doing that again. Sorry. What the hell's got into me apart from the fact I'm really hungry? Okay. So,
I think. How fast is this plane?
how fast is this plane? The maquette is a number of miles per hour. Hang on.
Up to 220 miles an hour.
Oh. Did you know that none of the vehicles are shared?
I will remedy that. I thought I'd shared everything. Bear with me.
I've just got empty. Aha, there we go.
Does the maquette have a name, or is the maquette the actual name of the plane?
It does have a name.
Yash.
What was that?
It's Russian.
Bringing black card plate.
Yash.
It sounded like a
Bloody
sneeze.
close to what it was saying on Google when I did the translation. And that was the fifth one I did because all the others were just vroom.
I've pasted in chat the name of the
Somewhere we've
aircraft.
got that, I think possibly in Discord. I think we've got that in Cyrillic, haven't we?
Yes, yeah, I couldn't use the Cyrillic version.
Okay, so. Be 220.
We could probably catch the ones ahead of us, or we can slow down and catch the ones behind us.
I'm far more interested in the ones behind us at the moment. Frankly, the pirates are less. Those pirates are less of a concern to me. The Raging
Right.
Cats have a bad name and have recently had their asses kicked. These guys have a higher tech, and if we could shoot them down and study their tech, that would be ideal.
So when I shoot them, you want me to try and do as little damage as possible while also taking them out of the air.
That's an option. I can
But
also.
the pilot's not the way.
Yeah, it's easy enough. Pilot's not bad.
How about I try to wound the pilot so that they can land the plane, and then we can kill the pilot?
No, you don't kill pilots on the ground. That's just bad.
Okay, I'll hit them in such a way that they're going to bleed out while landing the plane. I have the medical science to be able to do this if I can do a cold shot. Holy crap.
I was gonna say that's a
Wait a minute,
very
You're going to do
specific-
cold shots with 30 caliber machine guns.
Why not?
There has to be
Hey,
someone
this is
gonna
Crimson Skies. This is Crimson Skies. It is based on a video game with fantasy-style 1930s airplanes.
I've seen Night playing Crimson Skies. If you hit anything, it's a
The whole thing blows up.
for aces over Europe. God almighty, the amount of ammo I blew through on that. Okay, right,
What is
But,
going
Grounded has a much more significant meaning in this game.
sorry.
Just looking at the chat there. Being grounded has a much more significant
Yeah.
meaning.
Yes,
Yes.
very much. Right. I'm going to start slowing down. I'm basically going to do the trick that you can do on the motorway, which is on the road. You know, is this guy following us? Well, I'm just going to slow down and slow down and slow down.
Yeah,
So
so
I
basically
think
fall out of the sky.
we've established I know where the stop speed is on this thing.
Yeah, I mean, you can fly at, what, 70 miles an hour? Come on.
It's the whole police traffic car.
You're
Are they going to catch you
Full
speeding? They're going to go down to like 68 miles an hour.
Oh my god. Is the bad debt going to become the cops of the sky?
No. Mercenaries, possibly.
police interceptors.
I'd rather not get into so many violent
We've got
observations.
the Dawson dagger is the equivalent of a Scooby.
Actually, yeah. Now I want to repay the bad debt. It's a super.
I need the ANPR cameras on it.
So you slow down,
Yeah.
and this thing comes thundering past.
Uh huh.
How
Yeah,
fast
I'm
is it
allowing
going?
them to pass.
I guess the squirrels. We're below them.
Ideally, I'm gonna go higher.
I wouldn't be able to
possible.
shoot them with the tail gun.
Yeah, I'm allowing them to pass. To be honest, that's now less of a problem. If they're flying up our backside, then yeah, you can shoot them. But otherwise, I'm going to gain altitude so I can.
And
split
at
it
no
up.
point do they look like they're going to engage. And if you let them fly past, that's exactly what they do.
Okay. See, it might be interesting, letting them catch up with Raging Cajuns, and see what happens.
Well, then we should probably catch up and keep an eye on what happens so we
Yep,
can see.
exactly. Once they've passed, I'm going to throttle up, and so I can stay in touch, in distance where I can close it fast.
Okay.
Since the Marquette is a four crew style plane, I'm guessing the weapons in the back and the weapons in the front are operated by two different crew member versus the pilot, where there wouldn't be any weapons
The
control.
pilot can control the front weapons,
Correct? Okay.
as can the co-pilot. But
Okay.
neither can control the rear turret.
Yeah, so you have to do the Millennium Falcon-esque shifting back and forth.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm cool with that. I get the cool guns.
Fair enough.
Just what you're supposed to tell me is just don't shoot off the tail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ideally.
I mean,
Very cocky kid.
there are two tails on this. Don't shoot either of them off.
Yes.
So, as you approach Savannah, can I have notice rolls from the pair of you, please?
You can indeed, sir.
And we're being followed by another airplane.
That is a 7.
3, I think.
Okay. As you're approaching the airfield, you notice that the Raging Cajun has moored his boat on a river.
Okay.
Moored his plane on a river.
Okay.
He's probably, if you had access to a car, he's maybe a 20-minute drive from the airstrip.
Okay.
There's no sign of where the well, no, you can see where the VTOL plane's going to go, but they veer off to port instead of going for the airstrip.
Okay. The airstrip is the only place I can put down, isn't it?
Unless you want to land on a road, yes. Or possibly a railway. If I can find you a tunnel somewhere.
The closer the better.
One tunnel. One.
Also, we don't really want to land on an airstrip because these other people are landing there and they could sabotage our plane.
No one has landed at the airstrip.
No one's landed at the airstrip.
The float
Oh.
plane has landed on the river. The VTOL, God knows where that. It's off to the left somewhere.
Yeah.
Just use the airstrip. We can take a car to his place.
Yeah. Well, we still need to find the guy.
Why not just land on his house?
Honestly, it can't
Still
be.
need to find the guy. What
Okay,
part
wait.
do not know where he is?
I got an idea.
Uh-huh.
Let's just stay airborne and follow the Raging Cajuns as they get out of their plane and go wherever.
Unfortunately, unless you're willing to hop out
Do we have parachutes?
half an hour. That's an interesting question. I do. Have you?
Honestly, if I got into an airplane, I would definitely have a parachute. But we don't have portable radios. I might be able to find a radio in town, though.
Okay. Let's get this thing on the ground. We know where the Raging Cajun's parked up. Or moored up. It's not moored far out, is it? It is just moored at port, isn't it?
It's on the river.
It's on the river. It's
On the river, so
it's
it's
moored up at a pontoon, floating
Okay.
pontoon.
So it is accessible. Okay, fine. Yep, okay, I will land there. I will land at the landing strip then, and we can head over to where the Raging Cajuns are parked up. and have a chat.
Okay.
Am I going to need a piloting roll?
Not
or
at all. You're landing on an airstrip. There's no complications. It's a regular Commodore Garden everyday thing. You don't need a roll for this. It's only if you're flying an uncommon aircraft to land in adverse
Yeah.
conditions, like landing something on the water when you've never done a water landing before,
That's
or
fine.
landing on a railroad or something. But landing a plane on an airstrip, absolutely fine.
Yeah.
So
If we landed on a road, it's probably going to get hit by a car. If we landed on a train track, it's definitely going to get hit by a train.
And yes, Fish, I had noticed
At
that.
the end of the movie, don't we have to land it on the railway track and then walk away while a train drives through it?
Yeah, yeah. And then for the
Oh, no,
series,
it's not a helicopter, so
obviously
no,
there
for
was
the
a
series, it
second
mysteriously is back, even though it was destroyed by a train. Yes,
Yes. Blue Thunder,
that's
sorry.
Blue Thunder for anybody who hasn't got the reference, by the way.
yep.
Now I want to watch Blue Thunder, thanks.
And yet, oddly, I have the Airwolf theme in my head now.
You too, huh?
Because it's a better theme.
Yes. So
Quite close though.
you land, you taxi, you're marshalled to an area where you can then be towed back off the apron and secured.
Okay.
And you get out of your aircraft. And how do you go? How are you going to procure yourself a motor vehicle?
I'm going to hit the airstrip. I'm assuming air traffic control,
Okay.
and I'm going to offer money.
Oh, but you're not literally going to hit them then.
Um, well,
But offering to borrow one of their cars for cash.
yeah, exactly.
Give me a
I-
performance roll.
I can
please.
Wait.
That's the one. Persuasion.
I can also intimidate if they decide to get the arse with me.
Let's try persuade first, shall we?
If I persuade, I'm being nice. At least I have the skill.
While she's making the call, I'm just hopping out of the airplane and grabbing my doctor's bag
Fortunately,
and lighting up my freaking pipe.
8 in total.
8.
Yeah.
That's a raise. That's
Yay.
excuse me.
That's,
That is enough to
I'll die.
begrudgingly. Please don't damage it.
That's okay. We'll be absolutely fine. You see, my plane, I treat my plane like my baby. I treat your car like my plane. Please don't look at the patch bullet holes. Or the fact that at least once I've twatted the landing gear.
Okay. Just don't damage my car. And I'm off shift at 5, so I need my car to get home when I'm off shift. Be back well before then, please.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Almost sure.
So you have a car.
Yep.
It's
okay.
a fairly crappy car, but hey,
Don't
it's the
have any
1930s.
manual.
Even the crappy cars look kind of cool.
They do. They all do. I mean, it's 0 to 60 in a week and a half.
Yeah.
Do you know how to drive that? Do you know how to drive a car?
Stupid.
Do you have a driving skill?
No.
Of course I do. You just press the pedal.
So that's using unskilled to drive the car,
I
yes?
do, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All of us are pilots. We do not drive cars.
I think I have a feeling I could drive in Classic, but we got a lot less skill points in this one.
Yeah.
Actually, driving might come under common knowledge because it's something that
It might do actually.
you can do. So you could allow basic driving, not doing anything flash,
I
just going A to
could.
B under common knowledge.
Yes, I could. And for the sake of being pulp rather than gritty, we will go that route.
Thank you. Makes sense.
So no need for a driving roll yet.
Aside
only-
from the knowledge of how to double declutch, cars are no good.
It's only if things get a bit leery, I'll need you to be rolling.
Okay.
Is that
No.
a 36 double D clutch?
Oh, dear lord.
Sorry.
Somebody was gonna do it. I knew it.
Somebody had to, yeah.
Yeah, somebody had to. Fishy saw the
Yeah.
opening.
And just Had to
Yep.
dive straight in.
I,
Sacrifice.
had to spare, I was sparing everybody else. Somebody had to do it.
So-
Obviously nobody wanted to.
Molly's kind of
Can I have
reminds me
a
that
navigation roll,
manuals aren't
please?
Yeah.
compulsory in America,
Because you've got to work
Molly,
out where the
Molly,
heck.
Not a problem.
because isn't because manuals compulsory in the UK to learn.
It's not compulsory, but if you want to drive anything other than automatic, you have to learn on the manual.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, there is a
And even in America in these
box
days,
on
you're
the
right. Not only is it manual, but as Drut said, it's double declutching.
Yeah.
So you've got to get it out of gear and then get the engine at the right revs to be able to slide it into gear for the next one.
yeah. I read up on the mechanism, and I was so glad you no longer have to do that.
I had to do that in my Mini when the clutch went.
Oh. Ouch.
Yeah, about that, Shard, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I need a navigation roll to work out where you've now
there
got
were
to drive
cars in
to.
this era that could do over 100.
Now, knowledge navigation, I can do you.
Yep.
There were cars in that era that could go over 100, but most commercially made ones didn't go that fast.
Hmm.
Not even close.
The high end ones, good.
Okay.
Yeah, For the rich people
that
and the racers.
for-
This is the thing. See, the road cars and race cars in this era, there was no distinction. It wasn't like now where a Formula One car, for example, is a completely different beast.
Fair.
Race cars were just high end cars.
Sorry, I didn't hear that. Say that again, please.
22.
Bloody hell.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
So you've worked out where you're going to go to
Yeah.
intercept the Raging Cajuns. And you drive there. You get to the platform, the pontoon, and the plane's empty. You've missed them.
Yeah.
They've gone somewhere.
Yeah, they have gone somewhere. Right. That's fine. I'm going to be in either.
Or
Sorry,
before we
you're going
leave,
to...
is it okay? Is sabotage okay to keep them from being able to take off if we miss them?
Yes.
Great.
You're
I'm gonna
asking
pull
the
the
ex
spark plug.
mafia.
I'm going to pull the spark plugs out of their engines.
That's a lot
a
of spark
couple of
plugs.
Yeah, just a couple. It'll slow them down.
Okay, give me a repair roll, please.
I don't have repair.
In that case, you're rolling unskilled, D4 -2.
Would it be easier just to drain? Nah.
Keep it simple. When in doubt, keep it simple.
Throw a rock at it.
And what was it you said at the same time, Drat?
What I was going to say was I was going to break into the plane and see if they left any notes, records, flight plans, or maps.
Okay, the plane is open top. There's no need to break in. It's an open canopy. There is indeed a map
Uh-huh.
with a big circle around Savannah and a number of red dots that seem to mark landing pontoons that they could moor up to.
Okay, so logically, this is the closest pontoon to where they were going. What is in the vicinity of this pontoon?
Within walking distance, not a lot. If they had access to a car, nearest landmarks would be like City Hall,
That's where they were going.
library.
That's where we were looking. We were thinking of going for the property records. So
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
I failed to get the spark plugs out.
Okay, leave it be then. And
I slashed the tires. Wait, no, it's a pontoon. Never mind.
yeah, if you slash the pontoon, then they'll come back, and the whole thing will just be like one side down.
That'll stop them from flying.
I think your engine's flooded, mate.
Oh,
Where is the fuel tank? Can I just put water in the fuel tank?
no, okay, leave it be. Stop it. If you can't do it simply and quickly, we don't have the time.
I tapped
You
smash.
can always carry a bag of sugar.
Yes,
Hmm.
honey
Pour some
apparently does
vodka
it.
out.
Oh, no, vodka would actually be quite cool.
No, wouldn't that basically put fire out of the exhaust?
Vodka was, to be honest. Not all vodka will burn. We've learned this with the hand sanitizer thing.
Hmm.
Not all vodka is strong enough.
That's going to be
Most
something like
aren't.
60% or
Has
higher.
to be 60%, yeah. May have looked it up. Right. Yeah, but that also makes you sticky. Yeah, I'm back in the car, and then we can head to town
Okay.
and nick their map.
You're nicking their map.
I'm nicking their map.
Okay, fine.
Just 'cause I'm nasty like that. Yeah, head to town.
Okie doke.
Yep. At speed.
At speed, okay. Now, having had the radio conversation, what are Merlin and Moody up to?
Well, my plan has been foiled by someone saying no. I'm starting to see a running theme of my life here.
Oh.
You know, you've known Moody for a while. You could always convince Moody that you're going to do that plan anyway, because Moody is fairly impulsive and tends to do
Yeah.
things.
See, that's what I was, because I
don't
realized
think-
afterwards that I'm not playing her as impulsive as much as I should.
Okay.
So there's a chance that if you said, you know, we might be like too late to find the water witch or whatever. If we don't go now, then she'd probably be like, you know what, you're right, let's go. Also, I need to radio Midas. Say again.
Are we advocating here for replacing impulsive with gullible?
Same.
I'm not an impulsive person, so I'm trying to
It's
learn
so
how
easy to
impulsivity
scam.
works.
Look, sign
Trying to
up
learn how to
now,
be
and this once in a
impulsive.
lifetime chance will be gone.
Most
I mean-
gullible people tend towards impulsiveness, and vice versa. Impulsive people are more easily gullible.
See, I like the way you think, and she also, I didn't put a lot of points into smarts, so I don't know that she would really think through that much. So the combination of a low smart stat and a high impulsivity might be gullibility. That might be how I play the character.
I think Robinson,
Impulsive person, you basically act first, then think. So
Yeah.
if the idea sounds reasonable, you should probably go along with it before you have time to think, hang on a minute, that's not a good plan.
That's what I'm gonna try to do. That's what I'm gonna try to do. I do need to radio Midas, because Masha said to, and just
Yep.
let him know what's going on.
Is he ever going to pick up the radio when he's busy?
That's the question. I'm gonna try.
well, I think possibly a notice from Midas then to hear the radio.
Okay.
over his own voice.
He's gonna do the whole thing where it's like, oh, your phone's ringing. It's like, no, don't worry about it. I'm busy.
Yeah, exactly.
Three. I did not notice.
So you sit there, Midas, this is bad debt. Silence.
Yep.
And then I managed to get in
Midas,
behind
this is
him,
bad
and
debt.
I fired up the guns. Now,
Silence.
I got little guns on this thing, so it doesn't do a great deal of good.
Midas!
I make holes in him, and then he tried to get round back behind me, but that wasn't going to work. So
Perfect.
So,
That's
yeah.
exactly what I wanted.
Midas isn't answering.
She's not gonna keep trying after like 3 tries. It doesn't care that
No,
much.
it's not
You
that.
tried. You did what you
Yeah.
were told.
So
Yeah.
Robinson, my take from what Jury just said about Moody is that if you manage to persuade her that regardless of what Mash has said, you need to go in the Hakuge.
Yeah, and there's also the fact that Merlin's really overconfident as a character. So he's like, I can pull this off fine.
And she'd be like, "All right, yeah, all right." if you-"
Who
And
thought putting these
if
two
I can't-
together was a good idea?
She can't hurt him to prevent him from doing stupid things because she needs him intact to keep the plane intact. So if he's gonna go off and do something, then she's gonna have to be like, "All
Yeah.
right, I'll go with you."
just play devil's advocate here on the impulsive thing. You're overthinking that. I can't hurt him because I need him to keep the plane intact, as against he's doing something bad. Whack!
See, this is the problem. I'm literally overthinking the impulsivity, right?
Oh dear, just calm.
You really want to do it. What you do is you hit him on the back of the head, knock him unconscious, then impulsively decide he was right, drag him into the plane, and
Can I just say, I think that Jory deserves a chip for endeavouring to
Yes,
play
absolutely.
the impulsiveness
Absolutely.
completely
Absolutely.
against natural personality.
Absolutely,
I
yes.
appreciate it. I'm trying.
So, does that mean then, Robinson and Jury, that you are going to order the Bad Det to take off such that you can fly the Hakugate out to sea?
I
Because
think,
we were told not to take the base, right?
yeah.
So as long as the bad net remains behind, we haven't taken the base.
That's exactly my
moving long enough for you to
interpretation.
launch, then going back to back on station. Not a problem.
And then when you guys return, if you return, then you just have the bad debt start moving again so that you can get pulled up into it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I think, because the main thing was that Masha wanted the base to be there when they get back.
Mhm.
And the thing that would be most needing of protection in the base is the Hakuge. So if the Hakuge doesn't stay with the base doesn't need protecting as much.
Well, from your point of view, because
So-
That's exactly her point of view, though.
Fish.
man.
Midas is once again regaling a different crowd of people, although oddly Dale is still there, with yet more tales of daring do as the Bad Det undocks, starts moving off.
Does he notice though?
Give us a notice roll. Maybe you don't notice. Maybe you don't notice.
I'm sorry.
I was assuming you would, but
It's more fun this way.
Oh, he actually notices and
Yes.
difficulty.
so yes, you do notice.
We tried to call
What I
you.
had to do, right, is I really had to spend a lot of time learning to fly low and slow because for barnstorming you need to, where the hell are they going? Anyway, so
Wonderful.
Brilliant.
So yes, the Bad Det takes off, gains altitude, goes head to wind, and you are then told that you're ready to launch the Hakugate whenever you're ready.
I don't need to roll for this, do I?
Nope, you were involved in it. You're used to how this
Okay.
thing flies.
So the problem I have now is though, right? We've already established that the radar station is separate from the
Yep.
controls, right? So I can't do both,
Correct.
Nope.
which
I
means
don't-
my
wha-
excuse kind of falls flat here. But okay.
I don't
This
know
is
if
where-
she would notice, though.
this is
to be
where you-
fair.
You teach Moody how
How
to
to
just
use the radar.
hold still. You put one of her hands on one stick and the other one on the other stick and just tell her to hold still.
Or
for like
if you
5 or
really
10
don't
minutes.
want the
And then I
plane to fall out the
impulsively,
sky,
what's that?
yeah. Alternatively, you whilst you're sat here, talk Moody through how to operate the radar.
Which is what I was just thinking was probably rather more sensible because
Yes.
there's less danger of plummet to doom.
Look, we've already established that neither of them are technically sensible.
Oh God.
So
you
we
you left two characters that have very little sense of self-preservation.
I believe sensible just means having, the full set of touch, sight.
True, technically, yes.
In that case, I'm not sensible.
Oh, man.
F for taste buds.
Merlin Jury rigs some ropes to attach to an arm while he works
So-
the radar. Go.
There's just
Merlin.
this random pulley system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Merlin, Moody, you are now in flight and headed out to sea.
Yes, following the way that the other planes went.
And to fully track them, you're going to need to use the radar,
Yeah.
which means
But
that
I don't actually know what radar looks like back then,
I don't either.
so I can't actually roleplay for explaining this.
So, for the ease of
You think I know any of the stuff Midas says? Make it up.
for the ease of explanation, I am working on an oscilloscope readout as being what you've got in here. So it's technically
Okay.
what we know as being radar.
Is that the circle where it goes boop boop? Okay.
Yeah,
There and then it's gone. I think that's definitely.
we actually still use that style of radar today.
Yeah,
Not
it's a
broken.
little advanced for the
It
current
just has
time,
digital
but not by
tags
that
now
much.
rather than.
Okay,
So
so
in this case, I'm going to be explaining like all the I don't even know what the technical terms for most of the dials would be. So explaining like all the little dials that change the sort of wavelength and what's bands. That's what I was thinking of.
Amplitude and
Right.
Yeah.
What I'm
There's
looking for is
also-
some kind of teaching skill. So I'm gonna rather than use unskilled because you have the knowledge. You're just trying to get the knowledge over to someone else. Let's have you do knowledge engineering at -4. Not -2, -4. Because I'm being
How
a
do
git.
you manually set a?
Modifier box at the bottom left.
Yep. Modifier box in the bottom left.
Yes.
Oh. That's good to know.
I hope you explode all of the dice.
I hope you
I thought for a moment, yeah, that you explode all over the plane.
Because this is a
Oh.
very difficult task. It's not like you're explaining something that is widely out there in the world. This is
Yeah.
a
How do you do
unique
it?
piece of equipment. So the
It's probably-
modifier. You've got a modifier box down in the bottom left of your screen,
Do I?
Yeah.
just below the chat window in Fantasy Grounds, to the left of the dice.
Oh, is it the big zero?
The big zero,
Yeah.
yes, just above it. It says
Okay, because I
modifier.
clicked it and nothing happened. But then
If you
didn't
click it,
click
it
the-
goes from saying modifier to adjusting. So now you type -4.
Oh, I have to type.
Yes.
I
Well,
was
I have to type.
They don't
How
do
I was,
themselves, so
I was
Or
I was
computer?
expecting the dial to pop up because
Oh,
That
right,
makes
fair
sense.
enough.
I can't remember what, but it was dial in one of the other games that we did.
Yeah.
And then I assume that I throw the knowledge engineering into the modifier box or just into chat.
Just if you double click it, it'll do it.
Do it really? Oh, cool.
8
That's
minus
not
4
bad.
is 4. You still get your success. So
Nice job.
you accurately give enough information for Moody to have a basic understanding of how this thing works.
And I don't need to roll anything?
You do still need to roll.
It's the kind of back and forth where you're like, okay, it's now doing this, and it's like, okay, so then you do.
But because he made a very difficult roll, I'm going to let you have a D4 rather than D4 minus 2.
Excellent.
Because it's step by step teaching you.
Oh,
Well,
Use a penny.
You have chips.
I-
You can use a
yeah.
chip.
Use a chip.
yeah,
I could
This is
do
what
that.
they're
Should I
for.
drag it?
chip it.
Chip it real good.
Go, dice, go.
Damn it.
It should be rolling a D6 with the D4. Not sure
Oh.
why it did.
Oh.
I'll just do it by myself.
Oh, there you go. Right, so the 6 explodes. So you roll another
Okay.
6 to add on top of that. 7. Okay. Saved
Is
by
that
the wild
enough?
card die. That.
Okay. I'm always saved by the wild card die.
So
to be fair.
you're there, looking at this screen. You can see 3 blips. They've each gone a different way.
Ooh.
Effectively, you've got one dead ahead of you, one to your right, one to your left.
Do I have any indication of where, because we still don't know where the wreck is, right?
Correct.
Do I have any idea of like if one of these 3 is going more toward a location that we would suspect?
The one that's gone to the left could be headed towards the shot down plane, maybe. But that's a rough estimate. There's a lot of sea out there.
Yeah.
It could just be headed in
When
that
in
direction
doubt,
for some
go
other
left,
reason.
and that doesn't
shot
work. Try
down
your other
plane-
left.
The one that was in the river?
No, the one that went into the sea that you went diving to.
Okay.
That was it.
I
I
thought
thought
that
it was
in
in a river.
yeah,
It was
I
no,
did
it was
too.
it was in the sea but coastal.
A coastal.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Um.
Relatively speaking.
Okay, so that's the one that's going left.
Yep.
So we need to pick a direction.
Well, the one going straight is going straight out over the ocean, isn't it?
Mm,
You've gone
You're
muted,
muted.
Moody. You've gone muted.
Apologies. So we're in a plane that could handle just going out onto the water, so I'm not worried about that.
it's designed for carrying cargo as well, so I'm assuming it's not burning through fuel like there's no tomorrow because it's not carrying anything.
Correct.
Okay. Decisions. This is when we should just leave it to chat.
I kind of
I
like
make
want to roll a
decisions. We
die
can
or
have chat do
something.
that. No, wait.
Hey, if
that's
you
how
want
we
to roll
got
a
Lady
die, be
Frigella,
impulsive,
not let
toss a
chat do
coin,
stuff.
whatever. Go for it.
Yeah, that's kind of
Um,
what I feel like is tossing a coin, sort of.
I
I
mean,
kind of want to write off the one that's gone to the place we already went because we know.
yeah,
what's up
going
there.
left seems like contrary to what I said earlier. It doesn't seem like the right idea because
Okay,
Yeah.
if you want to roll a die, go for it.
Yeah, let's like do the equivalent of tossing a coin.
So I mean, you could roll a d6 and say
Although-
odds straight ahead, evens right or something.
we're keeping
I rolled a d4.
relative distance right because we're using the radar to track them. How likely are they to be aware of us?
Not very at the moment.
Okay, because I was saying it's going to look mighty suspicious if we suddenly decide to turn right after they turn right.
That's
Well,
true.
Didn't you say that they were already out of sight range, which is why you needed to set up the
Yep.
radar? Yeah.
So in my head, I was thinking 1 and 2 on the D4 was straight,
Okay.
and 3 and 4 is right. So I think the dice is we just go straight out into the water.
Okay, following the plane that goes straight out. That's cool.
Going straight also makes the most sense because we'll be able to track them with the radar until they like fully leave. Whereas
Hmm.
if we turned, we'd lose one of them sooner than the other one.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be impulsive, so I'm not thinking about those things.
That's cool. So you're flying out, following the one that's gone straight out to sea. Cool. I'm now going to flip back to those in Savannah.
Cool.
So you hopped in the car. You've gone back to the Hall of Records.
Yep.
Okay.
City Hall.
City Hall, Hall of Records.
Right.
That's not.
I get to find my list of NPCs. And you walk into the Hall of Records,
Uh-huh.
and there's a receptionist there. Elderly lady, grey hair, glasses. Yes.
Hello. We were wondering if we could take a look at what are they called?
Is it gonna be property?
Property records.
Why?
We are trying to locate a person. For it's funny. He
We're
traveled
trying
out
to look
to.
for a person in this area.
Yeah.
We assume he owns property. We would like to try and use your records to find him.
Very, very unorthodox.
It is possible he is in trouble. We would like to find him before bad people do.
Roll persuasion, please, both of you.
Okay.
And this is why you should have Midas with you.
Yes. Midas is better at persuasion than most.
Probably not. He's only got a D4, but he does get a +1 bonus for being attractive.
So
I've got the D4.
me too. I'm going to use.
And
Chip.
I've just got a 4 on there, so explodey.
And Mithra's gone with a chip use. Nice
6.
one, Mithra. Okay.
I got teamwork chips.
Teamwork. So, well, if it's to save someone that could be in trouble, I suppose that would be okay. If you go down the hall, you'll need to go downstairs. They're in the basement. and Dawn will help you from there.
Thank you. Spasiba. Right. We do know the name, don't we? It's just that it slipped out of my skull. Okay.
Tom,
Yep,
Tom or
starts with-
Thomas Felton.
Felton, that was it. I kept coming up with Denton. That was a bit of a weird one. No, I just want to call him JC. Right. Okay, yeah. At pace then, downstairs to the Hall of Records.
Okie dokie. And you get to the Hall of Records, and there's another woman sat behind a desk. The room, you've gone down quite a few flights of stairs to get to the basement. When you get to the Hall of Records, you can see why it's a very, very high-ceilinged room. And there's walls and walls of drawers, probably 15 feet high, maybe.
Of course
It's
there is.
a big cavernous room.
This is why we moved to computers, guys. This is why we moved to computers.
And
Went to
it's all
computers, so
surrounded
we
by
didn't
this
need big
bizarre.
cavernous rooms, except to store the computers in.
Yep.
BBC Archives would like to have a word.
Yeah.
Excuse me, ma'am. We were sent down here because we need to look up some property information on a Tom or Thomas Felton.
Do you have any more information on him, please, other than his name?
Well, he's a history buff.
Date of birth, age. Okay, what's the name you have?
How many Thomas Feltons can there be in this area?
Thomas Felton. Okay, bear with me a moment. Let me see.
Just gone to the phone book, of course.
Now, there's a big array of what looks like scaffolding around the entire room, almost like it's still being built.
Okay.
After Dawn says, bear with me a moment, you hear a clunk, and you can hear somewhere in the background a lot of machinery type noises.
Oh, nice.
Sort of sounds really, there is something really either heavy powered machinery or clockwork, something going on.
They're attempting to automate the records, aren't they?
She slides back away from her desk, and you hear a clack. And then she goes further back, and then as she starts rising up, you realize that she's still in her chair. And the framework is connected to the chair that she's sat in, and lifts her and moves her around the vast room.
That's awesome.
This is
What I've always wanted.
brilliant. I love it.
This is just everything I want in my life.
I used to want a library, like when I was younger. I really wanted like a big sort of glass
with the
top
ladder.
library
With the
with a
ladder
ladder
on-
that swings around.
Yeah,
and-
yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, and, well, it's not that the chair is a part of the mechanism. The mechanism has just clapped onto the axle of a wheelchair and is lifting her up and around.
Oh, okay.
I love it.
Oh.
I feel like, see, in my mind, this whole place looks like a hard drive, and she is the piece that's going down to recover information.
She's the read-write head.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of it that way, but now you come to mention it,
Yeah.
there is a
Very
parallel
sensible.
there.
Yeah.
Wheelchair user archivist is a read-write drive, read-write head on a hard drive in
Yeah.
the 1930s. Very cool.
We like that.
So she goes through several different sets of drawers, and eventually comes back and is deposited. There's another clack as the mechanism releases her chair and she rolls forwards back to the desk. Now, you say you don't have an age for Thomas Felton.
Thomas Felton is probably older than me.
Okay, so when you say older than you,
I'm 33.
I'm guessing you don't mean 200 and something.
Sorry, what?
Correct.
Okay, that rules him out.
Someone who's still alive.
Oh. Are you sure
Hang on.
about that?
Okay.
Was Thomas Felton involved in Civil War?
Let me see. Which one? The 200. Let me see.
The big one between north, south, and
No, I mean which Thomas Felton, dear.
oh.
I'm
The
assuming you mean
200
the
year
one
one?
that I've just discarded because
Yes.
he's 200 years old. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. How did you
That
know?
might be one we need to look into because it might be his heir.
I don't suppose there's any information on where he lived.
Well. Oh. Yes, there is. So,
Excellent.
Thomas Felton died some time ago, but not that long ago.
Right.
A few years ago. At this address.
My brain just suddenly said, "What here?"
I would need to look
I
further,
am
but
Thomas
I
Felton.
think they were related.
That would be. That
Can
would
we
be very
have
handy.
those addresses? Those
Of
addresses,
course.
then, please?
Absolutely, yes. Bear with me just a
Thank
minute.
you. We have
Also-
a map of area. Could you point general direction of address?
Of course, of course.
The map.
She gives you a piece of paper with the address written on it, takes the map, and puts a very neat little X on the map. There you go.
Excellent.
About there.
They don't have copy machines quite yet, do they? No, they have fiche, so they do have a form of copying.
God, when did Banders come in?
Oh, bloody hell. That's...
You remember the smelly copies from school?
Yes,
don't
I
you?
do. Bloody, I'd forgotten about those.
Yeah. Because I know.
Oh, apparently they're called spirit duplicators. Well, that's not horrific in any way, shape, or form.
No,
That's amazing. I love it so much.
Seriously. Because they use spirit-based ink.
Yeah, of
They
course.
stank.
Thank to high
You
heaven.
literally, you couldn't read them if you got given a load of handouts by your teacher. You couldn't have the windows closed because the entire class would be high. Just
No, it's
sat there
spirit.
sniffing the.
What do you mean by spirit-based ink? Because
Spirits as in alcohol.
Yeah.
okay, that's what I thought, but
No,
like, of
yeah,
course my
don't-
brain went somewhere else first.
Like 100 proof alcohol.
Wow.
Well, no, it's not that bad. Spirits are just hard liquor.
Yeah, we just called them banders. That's what they were known as at school.
Which I think was probably a brand name more than anything.
Yes, it was. Block and Anderson Company under their Bander brand.
There we go.
Yeah, all right.
I learned so
Checking.
much on these streams.
1923. They were invented.
Yes.
Nice.
Can we get a copy of
Crikey.
these records?
Of course.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have
the
a
first
copy
sheet
just
is
in the other
touched
room.
on or written upon. The second sheet's coated with a layer of wax. And yeah, it's a pressure transfer.
Huh.
So yeah, they should be able to basically copy. It produces the same result as a sheet of carbon paper put in backwards.
I love it when the technology level of the year of the game suits what we need without having to have someone write things down
Yeah.
or get a horse.
Basically, you run it through the copy first, and that produces a negative, and then it goes back on the drum, and then
Then produces
Mhm.
your...
transfer it onto a printing paper.
if we're
That's
thinking of
actually
the
really cool.
machines that I think we're thinking of, my father used to own one. I remember helping him use it when he was duplicating stuff, not so much for work as for the British Chess Federation. That's where he more really was duplicating stuff.
Yeah.
It may even have belonged to BTF rather than him.
The
Yeah.
stinkiness is that the whole paper is impregnated with on the
Alcohol.
sheets is impregnated with solvents. So yeah, it was the solvent stench that clung to it. So yeah, you could basically sit there and go.
This explains some things. You might have had some changes and alterations in the development of your brains.
It may have been from,
That would explain a lot. But yes,
Oh.
we have a machine in the other room. Give me a few minutes and I'll have that.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
And she
And then
puts them in a lap
because-
and wheels off round the corner.
And then because I'm curious, I go behind the desk to check out the machinery. Like, wow. And I start wandering around a little bit while I'm waiting.
It's
'Cause-
all sorts of pulleys and tracks and rack and pinion devices and
You know, a setup like this on the Bad Debt could be useful for moving things around without having to walk from one side to the other.
It's not a bad idea, actually.
Make a note. There'll be something for Merlin to deal with later.
Yeah. I'm just.
Oh, we have so many things for Merlin to do.
Just comes.
I
You come
love
back with this
everything.
massive job list.
Yeah,
The
everything
Bad
is just,
Debt
like,
is just going to be the
collecting.
most over-engineered, like,
Yeah.
airship ever.
And possibly the most disaster prone, because being experimental engineering, it'll go wrong occasionally.
Oh, good lovely guys.
It's that Star Trek type thing where something's always going wrong.
Yeah.
But hey, even though it's highly engineered in such a way, there's always that low probability that it actually is one of the best airships in the sky, regardless of the things that go wrong.
I'm not going to worry too much until he puts a holodeck on it.
Yeah. Did you see that quote from Will Wheaton the other day? I can't
No.
remember where he posted it. At least once a day, I step outside my house and say, "Computer end simulation," just in case.
Okay.
Oh,
Bless.
apparently, duplicate copies provide it proves a serious challenge to archivists responsible for historic documents and artistic preservation because they fade with exposure to light.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry, sorry.
But they won't have worked that part out quite so yet.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I do love games that have history-esque pieces to them so that everyone
Yeah.
gets to learn something new.
Yeah, it's so
I'm sorry,
good.
One of the nice things about Call of Cthulhu when it's done properly, again, same era.
It's educational as well as.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
going back to the Hakuge,
Yay.
you're flying out to sea. Looking at the
Never
radar,
to return.
your both your port and your starboard blips disappear off the radar. They've gone beyond the range, and you're staying following the solo aircraft.
So I'm overseeing the radar,
Yep.
and I'm assuming Moody assumes that this is what we're out here doing right now, is checking the range of the radar. So I'm gonna report in as soon as the blips disappear, and just let Merlin know that the radar seems to be
Okay.
seems to have its limit now.
And as you're discussing this, the one blip that you're still following banks to the left.
And it's far enough away that we have no visual of this.
You can't. You can see a speck in the distance.
Okay.
It's there. There's a speck in the distance. It's like a dot with a couple of lines coming out the side of it.
Can I just
And it's
ask
a
one
pretty
question?
sharp turn.
It's not a sharp turn. It's a gentle bank. It's
Okay.
effectively changing direction to be heading at an angle to you. Not coming back along the same trajectory, but at an angle, heading more in towards the coast. Rough direction of Savannah.
Really?
Can I just ask one important question? Is there a technical scientific reason why things turn starboard and left?
Port and
Yes,
starboard.
that technical reason, Fish, is TBI.
Fair enough.
My brain deciding which word is being used, whether I want to
Remember
use it or
that you
not.
can use the term larboard as well for left.
Could do.
It is a valid term,
It is.
Term what?
but not one you hear often these days.
Larboard.
Well, that's a new one on me.
Yeah, I didn't know
I'm
that.
not boaty enough.
It's not a new one to me. It's just not one that I grew up with.
Yeah, it is a boaty
You're
term. Yes. My
boaty.
apologies for using left and right and port and starboard interchangeably.
No-
My brain
no
short
worries.
circuits and the
Just
wrong
being
word
me.
comes out.
It's fine.
Much like with electronics
I'm
and
not
electrics.
So long as we all understand what we mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what terms we use at this stage.
Yeah. Honestly, when it comes to nautical stuff, basically everything has been renamed, even though it's rope and ladders and flooring.
Yeah.
No, you've got
And it's
What are they
halyard
called?
and lanyard and
Why are ropes called
Fine.
sheets?
They are? What?
yeah. If
Why-
you're holding the
why?
sail in, it's the sheet that you use that you pull to pull the sail in or let it out.
That doesn't.
Sheet
Okay.
rope?
sheet line.
line?
I would need to investigate to know the reasoning behind it. I just know that that's
Yeah.
what the sheet is.
I think it's the line attached to the sheet
Yeah.
Mhm.
makes sense.
where it comes from. and
That-
but I'm
Yeah,
not-
that's what I would think.
Yeah.
Probably.
However, in this context in game, the characters would be using the correct terms.
Yes.
So long
Yeah.
as we are understandable, then it works. It's fine.
Exactly.
All right,
So,
well, I'm gonna let Merlin know that the blip is going in a different direction on the radar thing. You're in charge of flying, so
It's going towards. You said roughly Savannah area.
roughly, yeah.
So that's nice and convenient. We finished our test flight and we can just swing by Savannah. And it has nothing to do with following this plane at all. It just happens to be going somewhere that's nice and convenient.
Yeah, just Savannah gives you a good opportunity to put down and check over everything and make sure that everything's fine after the flight. You know, just a little routine maintenance before you fly back.
Yeah, we haven't done a actual ground landing in this yet, have we?
Mm-mm.
Not a ground landing. no.
We've done a hook landing, or I don't know if we call that a landing. We've done a the
Yeah.
hook docking type thing, and we've done a
You've done a sea
water
landing.
landing. We haven't done a strip landing yet.
Correct.
So
Fair
let's
point.
go try that out next.
Okay.
how's the fuel level and everything?
Well, that'll be fine because this is a cargo plane, and
Yeah.
we're not carrying cargo. So
How far did we follow it out into the water?
Oh,
out
crikey.
over
So
the water?
you've probably only gone maybe 80 miles.
that's not
Okay.
far.
The plane would have an operational range of about 400 miles.
Okay. Is there anything significant that we could see that would cause the plane to turn?
No unless it had a planned route that at a certain point it would turn. Probably the pilot just maybe decided to turn just to port.
Okay. I'm gonna try to like remember that point at which it turned, just in case we need to come back to that
Okay.
spot.
Right, so back to... Yeah, we'll go back to the Hall of Records.
Okay.
So Dawn comes back and gives you the copy that she made. Now, this is interesting.
What?
Well, I wasn't working yesterday. My colleague was, and it appears he made a copy of this as well. Did you come in yesterday and lose the copy or something?
No, we did not. Then it's
You said-
possible
you
somebody may not have best interests in heart.
But you did say that. I do hope no one's going to get hurt.
Yes, so do I. Okay.
Good luck.
Honestly, if someone's going to get hurt, I'm pretty sure Masha here can take care of it.
Perfect.
Well, good-
Okay.
Good luck to you.
Thank Your help has been great. You are very useful.
Thank you. I think.
Right. Okay then.
Hop in the car and race to the house.
As you head out, the elderly lady on reception again over the top of the glasses. I hope you got what you wanted. Good luck.
Okay. Right. So.
Purchase.
We're gonna have to leg it basically. So.
So basically, what you're telling me is you need to drive quickly to get there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to shit.
I'm sorry. You said leg it, and I know that is what it means in terms of slang, but now I'm thinking of vehicles that run around like the
Like the Flintstones.
Fairwood. Let's say
The
Fairwood vehicle.
What the Benny's actually.
It gives you a re-roll.
It is just a reroll. Okay.
Yeah.
There
So,
are a number
So-
of things you can use Benny for. You can re-roll a trait. You can recover from being shaken. Obviously,
yeah.
not
I just love how I've just spent it on the grounds. I'm going to roll bad.
soak.
Soak
a
damage.
wound. You can draw a new action card in combat. You can re-roll damage if you get lousy damage. If you have arcane background, you can re-roll it. You can regain a power point. And you can also use a chip to influence the story.
Yes.
Which very much up to the GM exactly how that works, but it's things like you might come up with a clue. The GM might give you an extra clue or a useful but mundane item that will help you out,
Okay.
or possibly make a non-player character be a bit more confusing.
Okay.
Use it to accidentally run into the person we're looking for.
It might be going a bit much.
I am going to. Since I've spent it, I will use that for a reroll. I did succeed, but I would like to try and succeed better.
Okay.
Is that a complete reroll, or is that?
It's a complete reroll.
You
I think.
get a reroll on any trait, and best of all, you get to keep the best total from all your rolls. Any
Okay.
except the critical
So
failure,
any trait
which
roll
is then to must be a-
Has the wildcard die, so it rolls both the trait die and the wildcard die.
Right. Okay. So I got a 7 as my best result on the first roll. I've already spent the penny, so let's have a go. Okay, that's another 6.
Wildcard die to the rescue.
Yeah. So that's actually exactly the same. 9 minus 2 because it's untrained 7.
Okay.
So coincidence.
So there's a lot of crunching from the gearbox as you're double declutching faster than you're used to.
What?
A lot of shaking from-
Let's go.
Meanwhile, I'm just sitting back. My feet are up on the actual dash. I've got
Yeah, not recommended. I have to turn suddenly you are door.
I've got a seatbelt on. No, wait, we don't have seatbelts in this
I
area.
don't have seatbelts.
Don't have
No
seatbelts.
such thing.
And
Exactly. I'm just
unlike-
kicked back, smoking.
hey, look on the bright side. In the modern day, if you had your feet on the dash, your feet would be on a bomb.
That, yes, true.
Also, I definitely have my goggles down.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm just now flashing to that. Those pictures of people who do they. I've put crystals all over my
Yes. Yes.
steering wheel. And
Hey,
now
congratulations,
the-
you've turned
the
your
axe
car
into a claymore.
Yes.
See, crystals all over the
Yes,
the
I've seen
airbag
that picture.
cover.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, Darwin has a lot to go.
Indeed. So
So,
you're bouncing on the because roads aren't as good in this day and age as they are today,
no, we've got some turbulence on the road.
and the cars don't have the wonderful suspension, so you're bouncing around, being thrown around in the chair. It's like being on an episode of original Star Trek. You're all over
know-
the place.
Ship shape.
Even when there's turbulence in the sky, it never gets this bumpy.
Can get this bumpy. Depends how often you have been shot.
I mean, I guess if it's stormy.
Depends on how.
This hurts my butt.
Well, if you're shot and you're leaking fuel, then the weight distribution is wrong, so it can get bumpy then.
So
Hopefully,
she,
you will not be shot.
she's speeding all the way to this place, bumping all over the place, and we're having a nice, calm discussion about
No pun
aerodynamics.
forbidden, this
It's
chase.
almost like this woman who used to fly with bandits masquerading as a flying circus.
Hey.
Who's used to executing difficult maneuvers while people are lobbing 30mm bullets at her. It's really
mean-
not that worried about wrapping it around a tree, to be honest.
I'm used to putting people back together in really bad war situations in planes.
It's true.
I
So,
think
So
it's perfect that we're having a calm discussion. Wow, this is just a mess.
so Merlin,
Beyond-
Merlin and
you can't-
Monroe. Monroe? Moody. Monroe's the surname. Get it right.
Either one
Merlin and
works.
Moody. Just when you think, okay, this guy's heading for Savannah, he turns to port again. And is now heading down parallel to the coast.
I'm running out of excuses.
Well, and I think her her instinct would kind of be like, okay, maybe they know that they're being followed now, and they're changing course to throw us off.
I don't think they know. No, I know they don't know. Because
You know,
there's
for
no way
sure that
they'd know because they're far enough away and they don't have radar. Probably.
Sorry, Midas. Apologise for you not being in this session.
It's okay.
Midas has I think the bits that Midas has had have been great.
They have been.
Don't worry, we're coming back to Midas again fairly shortly.
Cool.
So,
I think, like, just on the off chance that they might know something, we should probably, like, follow them.
See, yeah, and I think that's the more impulsive of the two decisions. Is like,
okay.
now that we've decided we're gonna follow them, we should just keep following them and not
Okay.
think about it.
Cool. So you bank to port and you start following them as well. Excellent. Midas. Midas?
Yeah.
So once again, you're
Once again, Midas, are you there?
wasn't sure if you'd heard me.
Yep.
Midas fails a notice roll.
Midas doesn't do this.
Pepperdew is. You can see without needing a notice roll that Pepperdew is getting incredibly pissed off because everyone's loving Midas,
The Midas show.
and he storms over and says very, very loudly in a very thick New England accent that I'm not going to even try and replicate.
Oh, please do. Please
No.
do.
No,
Oh,
I can barely do American, let alone New England.
Even other Americans can't do New England properly.
It's its very own unique accent, isn't it?
There's like 3 different ones.
It always sounds a little bit like Americans that trying to do a posh British accent, but only when they've only heard about it, not actually heard it.
And he says very, very loudly, "If you're so good, why don't you challenge me in the skies? We'll do this now."
Ooh.
Ooh.
Well, I am absolutely fine with taking you on anytime you want, whatever you want to do. But I just had this crazy idea that maybe since there was a set of races going on in the next few days, maybe we could do it then. But right, yeah. What do you want to do? You want me to take off? Fluff a low flight, do it really badly like you did, and just copy what you did there, or should I do something different? Ladies and gentlemen, would you like to see how Nelly flies? Apparently, Mr. Pepper Pop here would like to see it.
Oh.
A game of horse except with airplanes. You guys are familiar with horse, right? There's other names for it. It's basically a basketball thing where one person makes a particular shot and the other person has to make the exact same shot in the same way until you collect a certain number of points. And you alternate who gets to make up the shot, like, turning around and throwing it behind them from way over here kind of thing, or bouncing it under your legs into the basket. Basically, trick shots. Yeah.
So maybe a little follow the leader.
Okay, Shackleford, you're on. Follow the leader.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have to ask you to clear the area so that I can get Nelly into the air for you.
There's a
on the edge
massive
of my
round of
seat.
applause from the crowd. They are
I
loving
would
this.
advise you all to watch Mr. Pepperdew very closely because, frankly, he's going to be going slower and he's going to be much easier to see.
There's a big huff, and I'll just get on with it as he storms off back to his plane.
Okay, yeah, I'll get the whoever it was who were clearing people out of the way so he could take off. I will.
They've already started. There's a massive round of applause. Your crowd love that you're not only accepting the challenge, but so confident that you're going to beat him. Even Daly stood at the back, giving you a nod and a wink.
Okay.
You're going to make him his money back,
Yeah.
one way or another.
He's gonna find you. He's gonna get you.
No, I'm thinking that he's going to bet on this,
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter whether or not Midas wins or loses. If Midas loses, it's probably going to be because of sabotage, and thus still winning the bet because they bet on losing. Or
It's got to be said, the odds at the moment, you're not going to get a very good return betting on Midas the way things are right.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
Everybody is going to be thinking that he's the obvious winner here.
So you both get in your planes and you're marshalled out. Over the radio, Pepper G goes, "So who's leading, you or me?"
Well, I've already seen what you did earlier on, so I guess it's time for you to watch me.
Excellent. Lead on, Hotshot.
I am going to take off, obviously, and I'm going to barrel roll at the absolute minimum height that it is reasonable to do. Or, well, I say reasonable, possible to do so. Reasonable doesn't come into it.
Okay.
You're not supposed to do a barrel roll on the way up. That's not the way they work. But
That's gonna take a roll.
yep,
I've been in a plane that's done almost that at takeoff. I used to be in the air training corps.
That's
They used to
only
take
a 7.
only a
That's
7.
Good enough.
It is.
It is okay, so I don't need to blow a penny on that one.
No, I was taking that at difficult rather than very difficult, so
Right.
still comes in quite nicely. And yes, shades of me being in the back seat of a trainer plane when a fast jet pilot's in the front seat, go up and bank and off, like holy shit.
I just remember that lunatic German pilot that we won a flight on. Do you remember when we were in band?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they did a draw for who was going to go up in the plane, and it was basically a Volkswagen Beetle with wings, flown by a guy with a ZZ Top beard and a leather flying helmet and goggles.
Oh, love it.
And he flew under power lines. So yes, I give you a good show, yeah.
Oh my god.
Why
So,
I am
Fish.
totally okay with commercial flights.
You're up with minimum clearance distance. You do a barrel roll. You lose a little altitude on the way round because you're doing a barrel roll, not an aileron roll.
Yeah.
Very close to the ground as you hit the bottom of the barrel.
That was the idea.
Back up again. Now, how does our friend Pepperdew do? There's his pilot skill.
Please don't. One of us is going to stack it. It's going to be easier to recover if it's me.
Almost as, and you can see this in the rearview mirror. Almost as if he had cloned you for that moment. He follows your barrel roll exactly.
Oh, nicely done.
He also rolled a 7.
Well, I think, given that we're putting on a show for the crowds here, I think it would be a good idea to give them an idea of who else is here. So I'm just going to take him on a little tour around all of the Zeppelins. Possible under them.
Okay, so we're flying in close proximity and under and around and over. That's going to take another. There'll be another piloting -2.
Going to be another piloting roll. That's an 11.
Woo.
Okay. Let's see what he does.
Cocky bastard.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
He rolled an 18.
Smack
You
straight into the
wield-
side of the bad deck.
you weave a very careful line around and under the Zeps, and he just goes a little bit closer than you do.
Ooh, somebody exploded.
Don't
Yes.
exploded when you're flying near the bad deck.
Seems maybe he does have some skill after all.
Yeah.
Maybe he
Time for
faked
the grand
almost
finale.
crashing.
Maybe he did.
He set you up.
You're going to have to be a bit smarter.
Just trying to think what there might be interesting to do at this point.
Going as high as you can before the engine cuts out and then restarting it again on the way down.
Well, you know, there was that story I was telling earlier on about gliding the plane, which is not an easy thing to do. in
Yeah.
Stagger. So I think maybe pull out to give myself a little bit of distance, and then cut the engine for a while and drop it into a dive and pull it up before turning the engine back on.
Okay, this is a difficult one again.
As described earlier on.
Again, -2 roll. And for
This
those
is
wondering
amazing. I love it.
what these aircraft look
Mhm.
like, there's a picture.
It's so cool.
I love Nelly.
This is basically all or nothing for Midas.
Pure ego driven.
These
Wow, that
planes
plane
are
is,
basically all engine.
yeah, it is literally all engine.
Well, something I haven't been taking into
It
account
looks
is
like a super
what,
deformed plane.
what the handling characteristic on the plane does. Does that modify my rolls or something?
It modifies his by the same, so it's
Yeah, so it doesn't really matter.
it doesn't. Yeah, in this case, it doesn't matter because you are flying identical planes.
Yeah. Okay then.
Your feet must be up against the back of the engine.
No, they're probably riding on either side of the engine.
Yeah.
No, it's not that. Because if you look, the cockpit's way, way back.
Oh, it is.
But it is virtually just an engine with a
Yeah.
cockpit plugged onto the back.
Literally, they just strapped wings and a cockpit onto and wheels onto the engine.
Yeah.
There is
Mhm.
nothing else there.
And one tiny little gun in my case.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so I
that's
guess
how you
I'm
get
making another roll, aren't I? at this
Yes,
point?
indeed.
I wonder if you could fit more engine in.
There's
Of
another
course,
thing
that
I
would be-
do.
Very good. I think I'm going to use a Benny to try and get a better roll on that one. I'm going to spend a chip there.
Actually, Robin, what you need to do, instead of trying to fit more engine inside, just build some
That
more
would be
engine on the outside, like a hot rod.
You can use another Benny. There's no limitation on how many
Minus comes
Bennies you
back
use.
after a weekend
Yeah,
away
let's
to
just
find
let's
engines
give it a third
strapped
go.
to the side.
No, that first roll is still the best one I've got. So that's not very convincing at all. I only got a 6.
But you didn't fail it, so you haven't crashed.
That's
Yeah. But I've kind of fluffed what I was doing compared to what I was trying to do. He's either hitting the ground or he's making me look a complete idiot. I'm not sure which.
So again, because you're leading, he's in your rearview mirror as you just about pull up,
Yeah.
and you're watching him do the same thing. He's wobbling in the dive down. He's not clearly not comfortable in being unpowered, and you're pretty sure his wheels were about that far off the ground before he pulled up again, and that was not intentional.
No.
You may have had a bad roll with a 5. He came down to a 4.
Yeah.
You both messed up your laugh.
There is a limit to how far I'm willing to push this, so I am now just going to do a nice, a nice safe barrel roll. Just pull up to a reasonable height before
Yep.
doing this one, and then round and bring them into land.
Okay.
That actually, that what you did looked like a really great show, especially with both of you pulling it off. Maybe you could be friends instead of just rivals. Maybe you could be rival friends.
Frenemies.
Frenemies.
Friendables.
Go on then, Fish. Roll for the barrel roll. Give us a good show to round up.
I was half expecting Fish to say he was going to
Yeah,
fly
okay, so
upside
that's
down
a
and high
15.
five all the crowds.
So for the maneuver that he's pulling up to a reasonable altitude and doing safely at, he performs perfectly.
I'm just glad that Pepperdew didn't die, because that would have been a very short-lived
Yeah, we don't know what
rivalry.
our last roll was yet.
So,
Yeah.
Pepperdew follows your barrel roll. As his plane goes inverted, it stalls.
Oh shit!
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh fish. Well, that's one way to thin the field.
Now, you did say this was at a safe altitude.
Yes.
Rest in
Yeah.
peace.
This is the safest thing we have attempted all flight. So if it's going to happen, this gives him the best chance of getting out of it.
Rest
Why did
in
I say what?
pieces.
I jinxed it.
No, you didn't jinx it. This is great.
Yeah.
This
As you
makes
loop
for great
round,
entertainment.
possibly looking on in horror that the fact that he's stalled in a
Mhm.
barrel
Upside
roll,
down.
upside
This is
down.
when the music stops suddenly, and then it starts up again, but it's really tense.
Yes.
Or shifts to a minor key takes on a weird distorted echo.
No, that would be if it was a Cthulhu game.
I'm just-
This thing's heading to the ground. He manages to get it back upright. Can't get the engine restarted. You can hear it. You can hear it trying to whine to start up, but it's not.
It's that scene in How to Train Your Dragon where they're just plummeting towards the ground.
What he does manage to do is wrestle it to a safe-ish landing.
Brings
It
it
bounces. It's not clean. It's not.
Yeah.
But it's the best landing he could possibly have anticipated from that catastrophe.
Oh,
Okay, under the circumstances, Midas is slightly changing what he was going to do. It was just going to be the barrel roll and then a nice sedate arc round and come into land. He's pulling round rather more tightly and coming into land by Pepper. Do I need to roll for that?
No, there's nothing untoward. A landing is a reasonable thing. Actually, yes, I will have a landing roll because you're not landing on the runway.
Not landing on
You're
the strip.
landing on grass field, so yes.
Yeah.
I thought he was
Roll
gonna
to
do
make
like
sure
a
you don't
victory
hit the
lap.
crowd.
At the 5, which is not great, but it should be
It's good enough. Yep, that's good
Yeah,
enough to land.
Yeah, and then he's leaping straight out of the plane and going to make sure the Pepper Dude's alright.
Aw, that's nice.
At least he's not. At least he's not a complete asshole. Just
Yeah.
mostly an asshole.
Genuinely, I thought he was gonna be like, oh, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
but
go and do another fancy thing because you got grounded.
I mean, he is an impulsive hotshot, which is why he does this shit.
Yeah.
But he's not actually a bad person.
this is the problem because this is like the Incredible Hulk. It's kind of everybody assumes that Midas is an asshole, and now he's being Midas and not arsehole in the same place at the same time. None of his crewmates are here to see it.
Aw,
That's always the way it works, yeah.
Midas is a nice guy, but no one's around to see it.
I was thinking the same thing, Jory. You help him out the cockpit. He's ashen faced and very grateful to be helped out of the cockpit.
Yeah, I will help him out to the cockpit, and then I will turn to. Is the crowd close enough that if I shout, they will hear me?
Yes.
In that case, I will turn back to the shout. So say, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it from Mr. Pepperdew. Despite a mechanical failure, he brought it in. What a guy!
Lots of applause. You can see the flash of cameras going off. And as trying to remember the character names already. Merlin and Moody are following this guy back. He's coming back to Dorian to presumably redock with his aircraft. So as you're flying back now into sight of the airfield, you can see Midas's plane and this other very similar plane parked off on the grass a ways from the airfield. There's a crowd lined up along the edge of the airfield looking at these two planes. And the British pilot is docking his aircraft back with the airship in the same way they did before. Flies in, hovers, and then just docks.
And that's the only one that's returned.
That's
To
the
the
only one that's
Zeppelin, right?
returned. The
Okay.
others have yet to come back. And over to our people.
You followed the wrong tail.
One last thing quickly, the last thing that Midas will say before he gets the guys to tow Nelly back to the appropriate place on the strip and
Yep,
so
the
forth,
paddock.
is as he's leaving, he will turn to Pepperdew and he'll say, "You're a hell of a pilot, sir. I look forward to beating you."
He's still too shaken to give you a solid response from that. He's still very, very pale.
Yeah.
So, Mithra and Masha.
No.
It's taken a while to get here. Both in terms of from the time that you left sort of after breakfast in the morning. It's now starting to get into dusk when you arrive at the old Felton house.
This is like property that's outside of town.
This is a property that's outside of town. I should have shared it to all of you. Let me just put that on
Okay.
screen for everyone that's watching.
Burn it, salt it, leave.
I like
That's-
this house. I would love to live in a house like this. I could turn it into a hospital.
Eelmarsh House.
House.
Sounds like a lovely place.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yes. Here for a holiday. Now we'll black.
That is where we will leave things.
Excellent.
Is there blood
As-
leaking out of the onto the steps?
The house is
It's possible.
old. It's clearly not been well maintained over the years.
Yeah.
It is a Civil War era, American Civil War era house. There is ivy climbing up most of the walls, obscuring most of the windows.
Fair enough.
So it's haunted, is what you're telling me.
I didn't say that word at all.
Old is relative, of course.
Yes, old is relative.
You know.
But even a Civil War era house, that would make it 80, 90 years old, roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
About the
that's
same as my flat.
My house?
No, not quite that
Not
old.
my house. The house I live in
Remember it?
is sort of Victorian.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So's mine.
No, mine's only 60, sorry.
I know we're going to be going over this next game.
Yep.
I'm assuming that the archivist was questioning me saying alive because both of them are dead at this point, correct?
Yes.
The one that I'm looking for specifically died 2 years ago,
Yep.
probably.
Yeah.
So we're here on a treasure hunt, not specifically looking for a person, but what might be left of what he
Yes.
did.
And someone's got a day ahead start ahead of us.
Yeah.
Ah, but they don't have my brain.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've got a head start on you, and they don't have
Your
Mithra's
brain.
brain.
Yeah.
They have all of the benefits and
Wow,
none of the
fish.
drawbacks.
Just
Indeed.
wow.
Look, the only other person here smarter than me as a character is the crazy one. Oh wait, both smarter than me.
There is a fine line between genius and madness, and we blur it a lot.
Genius and madness, pleasure and pain. Yeah, okay. Right.
All right, folks. So we are going to leave it
Oh,
there, just
thoughts.
as Masha and Mithra enter what Jory says is a haunted house.
I think it's haunted. I'm calling it now.
That seems like
There are no ghosts
fit
in
in the
Crimson
genre?
Skies.
I've never played in this setting
Actually,
before. I don't know.
there probably are ghosts. I don't know.
Well, Mash is superstitious.
Hmm.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I'm not.
You're
This is
curious,
interesting.
so
Thank you all.
If
Thank you all for
anything,
joining
you
us. I hope
can-
you've enjoyed where the story has gone so far.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Put up
No,
a
this is-
station,
it's
mate.
been so fun.
this is great.
I am thoroughly enjoying this. I am also, however, going to pimp our stream slightly.
Go for it.
Without, we have a new donation link because it just makes bookkeeping slightly easier from my end. So you can !tip or !donate. We'll give you the link and you can donate to support the channel. Basically, it's supporting the whole Hint Plays community. The money gets divvied up to support both Discord, associated projects, and the channel itself. So, obviously, you're free to watch without pay to play, but we really appreciate any help you can give us. There are out-of-pocket expenses that we've all sort of contributed to give
This is
towards
when
the end of
Hintplay
the
becomes an
moment.
actual registered company.
No,
Not yet.
not yet. No weird
We're a
carrot.
little away from that yet. Little
Yeah,
away
just
from
a wee bit yet. Yeah.
Look, if that ever happens, I don't care about getting paid in cash. Just pay me in costume jewelry and costume effects, and I'll be good.
Yeah, can I have that in writing?
Honestly, yeah. If we can just crowdfund the cosplay,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
we can have outfits for everything.
Well, that's one of the things that might be worth looking into. But yeah, basically, it would go to support the channel and people who will make investments into it.
Awesome.
We
Oh.
appreciate.
And while we're pimping things, would you like to pimp your channel out?
Pin my channel out, yes. Tomorrow, oh my god, it's tomorrow. Tomorrow, looking at possibly the last episode of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. It
Nice.
went on
Oh,
to
wow.
next Monday. And when I finish that, the follow-up is likely to be the Man of Medan,
Excellent.
the boat-based creepy horror.
Yeah,
which
looking
I am
forward to seeing you
kinda
play
looking
that.
forward to.
Will you be engaging in the multiplayer with anyone?
Under discussion. If people can be around, then yes, I would very much like to. And then Thursday, I am back on Gabriel Knight, Sins of the Fathers. Not Sins of the Fathers, sorry, Feast with him. I'm not going back to play the first one yet. Which is obviously a lovely little tour around Germany. Completely peaceful, nothing dodgy, just a nice history lesson.
Exactly.
And lots of
I'm not
science.
sure which parts of
Learn
those to
science.
actually believe are true.
I'm just disturbed
the
by the
above.
fact I was looking up Von Glauer because I see if I like him, and he's a good actor as well. And I found out the actor's name is Peter Lucas. So for anyone who listens to Magnus, that gave me a severe case of flashback.
That's
Oh,
cool.
dear.
Now we have a new face claim.
Excellent.
So, right.
Thank you. I am
What are we
gonna
doing
be-
next?
I'm going to be going back to the drums on Tuesday, hopefully on Thursday again, health notwithstanding, also Friday, and then Saturday it's back to games with the daughters. Same plan as usual for the week. Jewelry, when are your next streams? Because Jewelry is another
Well,
streamer here.
first, before I do that, I have a reveal
Hang on.
underneath.
Are
Yeah.
you sure we should?
on.
Careful, we don't want to get banned.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
So cool!
Awesome, in the wild.
Love it.
Excellent.
Yes.
The
I
real
know,
reason why you wore the leather jacket.
It's actually the whole way
I've been
through.
waiting. Literally, I was like, if I get too hot, then I'll
That
do
is so cool.
do the reveal of the Night Fight shirt. But I had to wait all the way to the end because my fan has been keeping me cool, so I had to take the opportunity.
That is so cool.
Brilliant
Thank
stuff.
you, Jewelry. Thank
That is
you.
so cool.
Thank you. I love it.
And then next week here on Hint Plays, we are playing.
Mutant
Year Zero?
Actually. Yep, Mutant Year Zero.
Yay.
I still have not figured out what to do about wearing face guns. I need to buy a Barbie and rip the arms off, and then attach them to a mask.
What about a Hulk Hogan type figure? The really
I-
beefy.
Yeah. Oh, a Barbie, a doll. I was just thinking doll. I still have to remove the arms.
I'm just
and then
thinking
find
that
a way-
they're likely to
They're
be
like
in that
very-
kind of pose. So
Yeah.
the whole muscle man pose. So
Yeah,
that's
that's
exactly
fair.
what you want there.
That's fair.
You want a classic He-Man. That's what you want.
Yes.
Oh, I do have He-Man. I have He-Man downstairs. Oh my God! Thank you. I have.
Yes.
There we go.
Oh dear.
And on that bombshell,
And the cosmic continues.
Yes.
yet another monster is created. Alright, folks, thank you ever so much for hanging out. It's been fun, and it'll be fun next week again. Look forward to seeing you.
Take care.
Ta-da.
Good night, folks.
Bye.